Okay, well, I'm back here by myself now. My phone died. Fun times. So we'll see if we get joined with anybody else. What I was showing you guys is the applique that I'm working on. So, what I was showing you guys before my phone so very unceremoniously died was the applique and this 3M tape that I'm using, which is like 1/8 of an inch thick, is what I was saying. And it is, what I was saying is I've learned in applique that if I were to leave these bottom pieces fully open, they tend to want to shift when I'm doing applique, and I don't like that. So I am going to put little bitty pieces there. You don't need much. We're not actually trying to secure this onto the bag. I mean, we are, but not like permanently, right? We're gonna do everything in stitches, so it'll be permanently adhered and we won't have to care about the tape anymore at that point. And I was talking about double-sided tapes and stuff. I really do like the wash away kind. That stuff tends to stick really nicely and do a decent job, but it's so much more expensive. And I'm not actually washing this. So why do I care if the sticky remains, you know, behind? It's not gonna hurt anything. So it's like, again, I don't even leave the little nubby parts on there. Like the little E part, I don't leave it without double stick tape. So I feel really bad. There were comments on there. I turned back to read everything and everything was gone. So I'll have to go back and see if I can look or reply. I didn't get to see whatever y'all were saying because I looked over and it was just a black screen. So if you had commented and said something that I hadn't replied to, I'm sorry. And you can obviously go ahead and re-comment as well. We can pick up where we left off. I hate that. I wish this thing would, like, I don't know, beep or say something that it was gonna die. Especially for a live streaming platform, like it knows you're not looking at that, because people tend to use this for activities, you know, gaming or whatever. I'm hoping to find a better streaming app thing. That would be good, but so far I'm not impressed with this one. And then I had thought about using a few of the other ones, but the cost on them is really prohibitive. I don't want to pay all of that. I will likely do more of these lives because I do enjoy chatting with you guys. I enjoy hanging out. And I do really like getting to know everybody past, you know, the initial, like, Facebook, you know. People just don't chat on Facebook as much. Not like they used to. Probably because it always turns into fighting. So on here, you know, we can talk about stuff like sewing machines and dipping sauces and eating on camera and being unprofessional. Stuff like that. And on Facebook, it's always just kind of like, you know, Facebook to me always sort of feels like ships passing in the night. Like, you make a comment and then maybe a day later the person you made the comment to will see it and maybe they'll comment back. You know, it's not a discussion. It's just remarks. I don't know. Okay, so we got our grid on our heart. I got my double stick tape all done. And then I say we regained 4 people of our 6 or so. I don't actually know how many we had on before, to be honest with y'all. Sorry, my phone died. Gonna unpick this and then we'll get started. And I'm plugged into a battery now, so, or not a battery, but like I plugged in my phone battery. So, anyway, let's see. This is twice as wide as this part, so we're gonna put it the one thing about this being vinyl, you have to make sure you don't distort your pieces when you put them down if your vinyl stretches at all. Because then your appliques will be distorted. So like in the case of these letters, I need to make sure that they lay down straight. Otherwise, you know, and if you have wonkiness, the good thing about the double stick tape, specifically this kind, it's really sticky, but it is repositionable to a point and it will continue being sticky. Some of them I bought from other places. It's like it's one-time stick, and if you unstick it, you're not sticking it again. The other thing I will often use for this task is actually Elmer's school glue, the purple kind that like dries clear. I will use that. So, I have my first two letters, and I'm going to measure from the side basically and figure out, you know, if I'm centered. Wow, I think I did pretty good on that. I'm actually a little shocked. I expected to have to move that. So now, I think we'll do this letter. It's always kind of a bit of a guessing game, and I really am, you know, I have a grid on here, but I am eyeball gouging it. I mean, for realsies. Oops. I really also like to tend to do appliques that are not crazy straight lines, because that way if it does end up crooked or shifting in the end, it has a bit, you know, more of a chance of looking better, right? Like remaining kind of organic looking. I might, oh darn, okay, I'm gonna have to shift this just a tidge. So, unstick it. Shift it down. This is the problem on this one with so many little pieces, making sure, and they're all right angles and like straight lines. So, you know. Did lose my piece of tape on this one. We'll see if I can, nope, okay. Lost cause, take two. Only one more piece of tape on this one. I didn't peel those yet, so I'm okay. I don't know if Kristen made her way back. I'm wondering how, if she did, to this video. I'm wondering, Kristen, if you're there, if you are still working on that cleanup clutch and how it's going. Okay, I'm not going to press that one down until I'm like done. I can kind of put this a little bit downward so you guys can see. Okay. Now you can see a bit better what I'm working on. I keep kind of showing the camera anyway, but this way. This one's a little crooked. Oh, come on. About to lose that piece of double stick tape again. There we go. It's the problem with the felt backed products. They stick really well, but not as well on okay, there we go. It's a little bit too crooked for my liking on there. So once I get all of these stuck down, then I'm just going to start doing all of the applique around the edges. Kind of not really a lot. Not a lot to it. It's just kind of tedious and time consuming. But in my experience, very worth it in the end. And I'm never sorry when I do an applique, ever. I'm always happy that I put forth the effort. I'm always happy with how it looks in the end. There are so many details you can do, and really it is quite a simple process. I do multiple layer ones a lot. But you don't have to. This is literally a single layer one. I mean, it's going to come out looking amazing. I can feel it. Okay. These little pieces out of here. Piecey pieces. So there we are. Well, that's my applique. And now I'm just going to go around the edges. So, like, it's going to take a while. Hopefully you guys start saying something to me. Talk to me, baby. I'm going to go with a 3mm stitch length on this. And then I just have a 7511 regular universal needle. That's what I use for everything. And I've got... obviously my bottom thread, I've got my top thread that matches. Since I'm doing the domestic, earlier on the previous video I had said I was going to do the rainbow contrast, but that was when we were going to use the brother. Hi Kristen. She says, oh, I made it back to you. Yes, because my phone died. How rude. We were talking and chatting and there were so many comments on the screen and I didn't even get to read them, and I am really mad, and I looked over and I was like, hey look, oh, it's a black screen. That was a major bummer. So anyway, I was just asking, I don't know if you heard, I said, how's your cleanup clutch going? I wanted to make sure you're still on target. But anyway, and I am also using, so I've talked about this in some of my other videos. I have an open toe applique foot is actually what this is called. It's a clear foot. I love that because you can see everything, but it's also really, really open. It has a lot of space between the prongs on the foot here, but I have outfitted it with Teflon strips. Teflon strips are amazing. If you are buying a sewing machine, you will probably receive these little strips in the accessories kit. They look like trash. Everyone thinks they're trash and they throw them away. They look like little plastic. They might be yellow, they might be blue. And then I just lost my train of thought. The back side of the sticker, they're either yellow or sometimes they're blue or they're clear like this, and then the back side of them has a paper on it and it looks like brown paper, and people throw them away because they don't know what they are. You cannot buy these little Teflon feet things. I've searched for a million years. They're really hard to get a hold of, and they're cut specifically for like the feet, so they're really, really good, so don't throw them away. If you have yours, go look in your accessory kit. Maybe you didn't throw them away. They're the best, and you can put them on a foot and turn any foot into a Teflon foot. So, Krista says, I just finished watching your video from earlier today. Long work day. Yes, that does sound like a long work day. Well, I'm glad you're with us now, Krista. And Kristen said she was sewing with an air bobbin. Oh, boo. That sucks. Hopefully, it's fixable. I hate when that happens. That's the worst. I finished the changing pad. I added a seam label that will rickroll my friend every time she changes her baby with it. Aw, that's true friendship right there. That's how you know it's real. Harassment makes it real. Most of the time. Okay, so now I'm just going to be appliquing. I'm going to try my best. I literally just got through saying I was going to use this. I think I'm just going to go really close to the edge. Sometimes I like to go like exactly a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch away if I have like a marker I can follow. But I think on this one, I'm just going to go really, really, really close to the edge. Like, like borderline invisible, because I don't want, this is metallic and it's already bright pink. I don't want it to be busy and I don't want it to detract from the general idea of being like a conversation heart, right? So I think that's what I'm going to do. I need to adjust my little table here. Something feels off to me, but maybe it's because I've been sewing with that other machine. I feel like I'm too low. Weird. Welcome in, Krista. We're just screwing around. We had a previous live to this one where I was cutting all this out on the Cricut, and we were screwing around and I was eating chicken and we were talking about dipping sauces, and then we were talking about my sewing machine and that it got a sad little boo-boo. That was the point to my story on the other live video, by the way, peeps. I bought the new semi-industrial because I don't want to travel with this one because I love it so much and it's just very sentimental and I don't ever want anything to happen to it. So I buy this other machine that I've been toying around. I don't know if I'm going to keep it yet, and I've been experimenting, and so like 2 days after I had that machine, I was moving something on the table. There was something behind it. This was sitting, I never put it on the floor. I put it on the floor that day, over in a corner though where it was like safe, but I never ever put it on the floor in the history of me having it, like, because I baby it. I just love this machine so much. I put it on the floor, something fell off the table when I pushed something else, and it hit my machine, and it was big and metal and heavy, and it made a big ugly mark on here. You guys can't really see it, but I'm gonna have to like buff it out with some sandpaper because it scuffed it, and I think I can make it to where you won't even be able to tell. But it makes me sad. So I'm gonna put that up so I don't have to look at it. Let's see. We were also very impressed with Corey and the story of your machine. Oh, thank you. I am also very impressed with him. We did not get married for very many years later after that. It was, like I said, that's probably 2008, 2009. We've been together since about 2006, something like that. I'd have to really think about that. It's late. And we were married in 2014. So, we got married on 12/13/14. So, yeah, we've been together for a long time. But, yeah, that's his being invested in me and in my creativity. Like, literally, if that were not the case, I wouldn't, like, I probably really wouldn't, I don't mean like as in unalived, but I mean like I wouldn't be here with you guys, because I don't know what I would have been doing. Nothing. Something else. I would have been, I don't know. I mean, I've had lots of creative mediums, and I still pick a lot of them up today, but sewing, which is always so out of reach for me, I felt so, like, unable, you know? I just always felt like it's unattainable for me, because I can't get this to work. And nobody ever told me, I mean, there really is such a thing as a crappy machine. Nobody ever told me that. And why would you ever think that? But it's just like a car. You can get a car that's a lemon. You can get a house that's a lemon. You can, you know, you can have lots of bad things. And I just thought it was me. And, you know, he's always supported me and believed in things. He's a super supportive guy. And, you know, I'm obviously biased because he's mine. But you guys have, any of you who've been to the expo or any of the shows we've ever been to that, you've met him. He's an incredibly nice person. Much nicer than me, frankly. He is kind of a saint, in my opinion. And he puts up with me, and I am crazy, and he puts up with all of my harebrained ideas and my crazy artistic, you know, flair. So the fact that he has been putting up with me for this long, I haven't even figured out what to get him for Valentine's Day, y'all. We're not big, like, we're not anti-Valentine's Day or anything, but we're just, you know, I don't know, we've been together for a long time. And we used to go out to dinner, and now we're like, screw that, we're not going out on Valentine's Day. Because it's busy and expensive and silly. So I figure I'll make a fancy dinner. And, you know, we'll probably just hang out at home. That's much more our speed these days. But I do want to get him something. He's the type of guy, though. He's so hard to buy for, you guys. He's the type that if he wants something, he just buys it. He is not really secretive, but, oops, I'm about to lose my thread tail there. I didn't pull enough thread out, and I'm about to have to rethread that needle. Hell no. Okay. So he's, you know, he's a tech guy, and he's really into that kind of stuff. And, you know, we share a lot of the same interests, for sure. We're both giant nerds. But he is much more into, you know, technology than me. And I don't keep up with all the stuff he keeps up with. So, like, half the time I don't even know what to buy him. So if you have a good idea for, like, a nerdy, techie guy, you know, kind of gift, I am all ears, because he is so hard to buy for. Usually I just get him a video game or two, but, like, now he's got this Game Pass something on pretty much all the platforms, so he doesn't even, like, need the games anymore. He just pre-orders them and they just show up on the machine. So I'm like, what is that? Because I used to be able to, like, go to Target, Best Buy, someplace, buy him a physical game and be like, here you go, like, I knew you'd like this one or whatever. I can't do that anymore because now he's like, oh, I just pre-ordered it. So frustrating. And if I don't get him a gift, he's not, you know, whatever about it, but you know, it's nice to get a gift. So, yeah, I am at a total loss. I mean, he, obviously chocolate, you know, he's got a sweet tooth, so I could do that, but I like having something to kind of surprise him and have something to be able to give him. It's also terrible, you know, there's always, like, the, you know, sexy route, right? Like, lingerie or whatever, but I feel like that's cheating. Like, I feel like that's such a cop-out. Like, I'm just falling back on that, you know? I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't be mad, but I want to get him something, you know, that's, like, actually for him. It's just he is so hard to buy for. He's the man who either has everything or he's the man who has everything on pre-order. So you probably noticed I am slow sewing turtle, which is what I call myself all the time. I am not the fastest sewist out there. I never will be. I am incapable of that because I'm too afraid to make a mistake. I put all those hours into cutting this dumb thing, and if I screwed it up now, I'd be really pissed about messing it up. So you guys can see how close to the edge I'm getting on it, and I just want it to be like, I can even tell in the camera right now, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, that part right there, it's wonky, it's too tall, because I don't have something to go off of. But, like, to my eye, when I look at it here from far away, the metallic really distracts from it, so I guess it's fine. I don't think I would say perfectionist, because I know nothing I do is perfect, but I do strive for the best I can, maybe is the best way to put it. I don't want it to be crappy. It's like you spend all that time and all this money, and by the time I get into this bag, I'm gonna have so much time in it. Like, I don't want it to suck. I don't want anybody else to look at it and think that it sucks, and I don't want to look at it and think it sucks. So, you know. Between y'all and me, speaking of Valentine's Day, I don't exactly know what I'm going to do for it, but I am going to do something for the shop. I'm hoping to have a few exclusive appliques. We'll see if I can get to them, but I want to, and I'm also hoping to premiere a new thing I've been working on. I also talked about this earlier on the live video, and I gave a hint about it. I showed you guys something and I said that's all I'm going to say about it. So I really want to have some of those available for Valentine's Day, like an exclusive kind of, you know, treat yourself, like if nobody else got you anything, you can get something for yourself kind of a thing. So that's the hope. I don't guarantee it because we do have SME coming up, but I'm pretty much ready. I think, I mean, as ready as I'm gonna be, really. So that's sort of where I'm at with that. And I really just am in the mood to finally be creative. I'm totally jazzed about where this bag is headed. Hope it doesn't suck. So for me, I prefer a longer stitch length on my applique. It makes for less shifting. However, it also makes for more hand cranking when I get to like a corner or whatever, and I don't mind that one bit because again, I'm slow and steady. I want very good precision, and I don't want to be all over the place, and in my opinion that is really what ultimately makes for the most like impressive and good applique. And when these stitches are too fine and choppy, you can tell, and when they're too long, you can tell. So like really a 3mm is usually what I go with. If it's a much bigger applique with less tight turns and corners, I'll actually do a 3.5. Like if I were doing like a big heart or something. That's kind of typical for me. And then I like to hand crank in my corners and stuff, so I hit the mark exactly where I want to be. And on a short stitch like this, I will split, like I'll do a shorter stitch length and I'll kind of do it by hand. Does that make sense? I lift the foot and I move back and forth on my own. So I end up hitting right where I want to be. But that's just me. That's how I do applique because I want it to be perfect, and then I do back stitch on them. This one I'm specifically back stitching because you can't really see the back stitches very well. The cluster of them. I'm using perfectly matching thread, and then I'm also using this metallic vinyl, right? So like to your naked eye, you don't pick up on like a ton of this stuff. If I were doing like black letters with white stitching or something like that, I would be pulling the threads to the back. I would be like tying them off. There's a feature on my machine here called the fixed stitch, and I back stitch on this and do a fixed stitch. But if I were not using contrasting and I didn't have the metallic and the texture to hide a lot of these things, I would be doing just the fixed stitch and pulling to the back. I would not be doing all this because again, you're gonna notice that like a lot. So, my Facebook fell asleep when we were talking. Oh, my boyfriend. I read that as Facebook. I read FB. My boyfriend fell asleep. We were talking on the phone earlier. He's going to cook Valentine's Day dinner for me. Well, that's sweet. I'm assuming he's a good cook. I hope so. If he's not, I'm sorry. That maybe won't be a happy Valentine's Day for you. I am definitely the cook of the household, and I'm okay with that. Everybody has their gifts. My husband's gifts do not center around or anywhere at all in the field of cooking. He is not a cooking person. He is no chef. He is not, he likes to eat, but he is not a very, honestly, he doesn't really know his way around the kitchen. Like, about as gourmet or, like, cooking as he will get is, like, heating something up in the oven. He does know how to do that. He's good at that. And then he is, he can make macaroni and cheese. He can make, macaroni and cheese. I don't know. He doesn't really ever cook because he's just not going to cook. I have made him make some things before just to, you know, I don't know, I guess make me feel like I'm trying to make him learn. But I mean, again, yeah, he just is not, and that's fine. I know when I was younger, I was really like, I was hyper independent by force. You know, I kind of had to be in my childhood due to everything that was going on in my life. And so, you know, here I am at like 7 years old. I knew how to make macaroni and cheese, and I knew how to load the dishwasher, and I was home alone all the time using the stove, and, you know, it was just a different life. He had parents at home all the time, a mom, you know, who was cooking. He was not a latchkey kid. He was, you know, kind of always guarded and taken care of, right? So, he didn't learn a lot of those things, and in a way I kind of envy him for that. But at the same time, then when I started dating him and he was like in college, and I'm thinking, like, you eat out every day? Like, you don't cook? And he was like, nope. I mean, I heat things up. So, and I remember being very young and thinking like, oh, I can't date a guy like that. I can't do that. You know, I was like offended by it. Like, I thought, you know, I don't know. I just thought, well, what if I don't know. I'm not really sure what I thought, to be honest. I just remember having thoughts like, that's not okay. Like, I'm way more independent than he is, and he'll depend on me too much, and he'll want all this and that and the other. But, like, that's really not the case. And it's never been an issue. And obviously we've been together for this long, so I kind of learned to get over that. But I remember thinking when we very first started dating, like, he doesn't even know how to work a dishwasher. But he never had dishes. Like, he didn't eat at home. And he was never home. He was a college student. I mean, he didn't drink coffee. He didn't do any of those things. So, like, he didn't have any, like, it wasn't a big deal. And of course now he knows how to operate the dishwasher. But I just remember being, like, to my core offended. And I think in a way I was probably kind of jealous. Like, what do you mean you don't have to do all this stuff? Of course you have to do all this stuff. You can't be a fully functioning adult if you don't do all these things. And now I'm just like, really? I do those things, and then he does other stuff that I don't want to do, and it works out great. You guys remember thinking weird stuff like that when you were young? Like dumb things that you got hung up on that either society or your parents or like somebody told you had to be a thing? I have so many of those that then when I got older and got out in the world, I was like, none of this shit really matters. Which was kind of funny and kind of sad to realize, like, oh my gosh, the whole way I've been living my life for so long, I thought this stuff mattered so much. I thought it was like the mostest important. And the household I grew up in, I was kind of led to believe that, like, if these things aren't done exactly this way, society will fall and fail, and you'll be a failure, and your life will be miserable. Like, it was kind of wild. And when your parents tell you those things, right, like, you don't know any better, especially if you're sheltered. Then I got out in the real world, and I was like, oh my god, nobody cares about this stuff. Like, here I am, caring so much about this stuff that, like, does not matter. So I figured that out pretty quick, but also that was like a real major, I guess you'd call it culture shock. Because I, for real, was living in like some kind of alternative universe, thinking that this stuff was like paramount. Crazy times. I'm gonna finish this letter M. I only have an E left. This is pretty quick. The portal took me like, I mean, hours because it's so many curves and all those little tiny points. These are all straight lines, so this is actually pretty quick. I fully expected to just say, okay, this took me 3.5 hours, so now I'm gonna go to bed. But I think we'll actually get into sewing the bag tonight. I totally think I'm gonna cheat and use webbing on this bag. I do not think I am going to make a strap because I don't wanna. I am like team webbing all the way. Unless it's like a fancy bag and it's short straps, but if we're making a crossbody bag, I'm not making a strap unless I have no other choice. I'm glad I decided to go with the snarky one. That's where my, that's where the, I don't know, my soul was like leading me in that direction, right? Like telling me like, no, this is the one. Okay, I need to give my eyes a break. I like don't blink when I do applique and it, if you guys, are any of you quilters? Have any of you done stippling quilting before? I didn't like a lot of other quilting, but I loved stippling. I hate the art of it, but once I would like finally let go and get into a groove and do like the free motion of it, I could do it for hours and it like fully relaxed me in a way that I like don't get to very often. And so that was like a mind melting, like joyous experience for me when I discovered that way back when. Did it for the first time on this machine. But oh my gosh, I was making a quilt for a friend. I used to do a ton of baby stuff. And I was like going, I mean, it was like killing my eyes and I couldn't figure out, I couldn't figure out why this was happening to me. My eyes were hurting. They hurt so bad. And after like the third night of doing this quilt, I was like, oh my God, it's the stippling. Like I don't blink. And my eyes get really tired. So I literally had to have eye drops like next to the machine and you know, I really enjoyed it, but oh my gosh, it killed me. So I do have that problem with applique. I get so hyper fixated. I'm like staring and holding my breath and, excuse me, I don't mean to yawn. So now my eyes are like killing me after doing all those letters. What we got here? He's an excellent cook, she says. That's good. We have to deprogram ourselves. I'm holding my breath when I'm top stitching. Yes, I would definitely call it deprogramming. I wouldn't have thought of that like term until kind of more recently and learning more stuff as an adult. And I still have so much stuff I'm actively working on deprogramming lots of things. You know, some of them worse than others. Some of them are more innocent and some of them are, a lot more like, oh, that's a terrible thing. You need to get rid of that ASAP. So... Okay, so I know Krista said she watched my video from earlier, and Kristen said that she watched my video from earlier, and there's 5 of us on here at this point. I don't know who the other 3 are because nobody else has commented. But I told you guys on that video earlier, I'm staring at this thing right now. I told you I have a hard time keeping things a secret when I'm excited about them. And I'm staring at it, and I really want to tell you what it is because I'm so excited. This brainchild popped into my head like 3 days ago, and it was again, the really first time I kind of felt like being creative, it was like this little spark. Like I had mentioned earlier, I've been in like a really, like a legitimate depression, like a black hole kind of depression. And this little kind of just the faintest little spark kind of came up, and I kind of was like, oh, okay, like maybe, yeah. And I kind of shoved it aside, you know, because I'm feeling all these things. And I just went, but it kind of kept popping up. And so I little bit by little bit, I've been kind of like thinking about it. And finally yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this and we're going to see how it works. I don't know if I can even execute it. And I'm pretty sure that I got it. The only thing is this is my prototype and it didn't work out. It worked out, but I'm going to change something about the way that I'm doing it. So Kristen said her guess was earrings, and it is earrings. That's the earring. They're little tiny king spool earrings, and I love them. I'm so excited for them. It's like stupid. I cannot wait to make a whole bunch of these. These are actually made with the Tex 45 semi-industrial thread. These are made, this specific one I'm holding in my hand is this thread from Saya Swag, the apple cinnamon. Look how freaking cute they are. They're so tiny and they're like to scale. And I hand, you know, it's real thread that's on there, like wound and everything. I don't like the way that I wound it. I was trying to go for the pattern that's on this, but it's not going to work. And that's all fine and great. This is just my prototype. And like, they're so, I can't really see the screen because all your guys' comments are on them, but they're going to be little dangly, tiny spool earrings. They're so freaking cute. I'm so excited about them. Oh. So I will have a bunch of them at Texas SME with me, and then they will be on the website, and I will have them at Tennessee as well later in the year, but they'll be on the website far before then. And I'm really hoping to have them up by Valentine's Day. Like, my kind of idea is sort of like, if nobody got you jewelry for Valentine's Day, you can get yourself some. Like, here are these. And I want to do them in, like, all the colors. So I have all the colors I have anyway. So I've got some, you know, blues and some different text colors. I'll need to probably order a few more. But I just think they are so freaking fun. And I'm really glad that I was able to execute them. They're very lightweight. I made sure of that because my earlobes are pretty good, but like heavy stuff, you know, it's a problem. So these are actually hollow just to scale. Like, they are exactly as they are, and they'll have a tiny loop coming out of the top. And then I am doing them on hypoallergenic hooks, and then, you know, that way hopefully nobody has like a problem, because I have sensitivities a little bit with jewelry. So I'm thinking I'm going to do some white gold hooks. They're just slightly more expensive, but then like nobody's allergic to that. Even like the stainless steel or the nickel free and all that, people can still have allergies. I do. White gold hooks are the only thing that, like, plated white gold hooks are the only thing I can wear. So otherwise I have big problems. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm really excited for them. But they're nice and lightweight, so they won't drag your earlobes down. They won't hurt your ears. And they're really cute. And I saw you guys made a bunch of comments about needing some and thinking they're cute too. So I'm really glad, because I've been kind of, again, that little spark kind of ignited in me, and I haven't, you guys are really the only ones I've told outside of Corey. I haven't told anybody, and, you know, surprise. So I'll probably put a newsletter, when I officially finish them. That was my little prototype I was working on. And so now that I got that all squared away, I can actually finish making them. And I got the earring cards in the mail today, actually, so I can stamp those and get them all set up, and I'm really excited. So I have such a hard time keeping, like, you know, stuff quiet. Like, I want to, when I'm excited, and now I feel better because I've been like holding that in. So now I feel better. I told somebody. Plus, they really are just cute. Like, I wanted somebody else to think that they're as cute as I do, because like they're really, really cute. They're so adorable in person. It's not even funny. And I have to, of course, I'm going to make myself a maroon pair like that, because, I mean, maroon, all the maroon things. So I am just so stoked to have those. I might have some other earring styles. I have not decided if I want to go through with that. Just some like acrylic style ones with some other kind of sewist, crafty kind of sewing related tiny sewing machines or something. I don't really know. But for now, I'll definitely have these. And I'm really glad you guys are on here for me to share them with. Kind of something special about that, you know, getting to share with people that you actually like know in person. Okay, well, I'm almost done with this E. Honestly, all I did was cut out the main panels and the pocket panels. I hadn't cut in the liners. I hadn't cut the gussets yet because I really thought this was going to take longer. I guess I'm going to have to look at the time and figure out if it's like too late. I might not sew tonight because like now I'm yawning like a dummy. Y'all know once that sets in, you know you're tired when. I feel like it's like midnight and I bet you it's probably like 9 o'clock. I'm so old, y'all. Like, the other thing though is I have really been going through, you know, this depression and frankly grief. I mean, it's legitimate, just it's grieving. And nothing makes you as tired as grief. Grief is a really, you know, heavy thing. And I've been going through it on multiple fronts. So, that's, I think, you know, lately I've just been wanting to go to bed crazy early. And then I wake up like all night and I'm up all crazy. So if you're not getting good sleep, of course, you're gonna be tired. Duh. Okay, the applique is done. And it's friggin' cute. I love it. Kristen said, yeah, I know you love yellow and gold. That's your favorite. I don't actually have any right now. I don't know. Are you coming to Texas, Kristen? I don't know. Are Krista and Kristen, are either of you coming to Texas? I don't think you are, but frankly, I don't know. I don't even know like who else is vending, you guys. I know I'm vending. I'm so bad about that. I have no idea who's teaching. I have no idea who. I know like 3 people personally who are vending, like personal friends of mine, and then everybody else I'm like, what? And I'm terrible about that. Every time I go to one of these expos, I'm so like head in my own thing. I feel bad, but I get like surprised when I see people. They're like, oh, it's you. So, you know, if you're coming, obviously let me know. But I don't know if I'll have those by Texas because I don't have yellow. I have, what do I have? I've got teal. I have a purple and blue ombre, like Beetlejuice colors. I have rainbow. I have gray. I have black. I have navy, and I think one other color. I haven't decided what I like about the Tex 45. I was gonna just use like sew all thread, like Joann's, you know, whatever, sew all thread. But I love that it's Tex 45 because then it's either the wizardry thread or the Saya Swag thread. Those are the 2 types I have. But I just really like the chunky, like again, don't pay attention to the ugly wrapping, but like on the top where it's pretty, like under, like not under my hand, you can see the texture of the thread really well. I'm afraid if I do that thinner sew all thread, you're gonna lose the texture and then, you know, what's the point? So I really want to keep with the bonded 45, but I don't have as many colors. I only have like 6. So I might be able to order more in time and get it in. But if not, you know, I'll expand the colors as I go. So, that's kind of, you know, why I'm doing the colors that I'm doing is because I have like, you know, 4 or 5 from Kasaya. I have a bunch of Tex 90 because I use it on my industrial machine, so I have a lot more colors on 90, and I do have, I don't even know if it's actually 90 or 95 or whatever it is, but it's the fatter stuff. You can see it over there on the wall. I have over there on the wall. I have yellow there, but that's 90 or 95, and I'm afraid that the scale is going to be too big. I guess I could try it with that and see. I haven't tried the 45, but if I can, I will have yellow at some point because I know yellow is your favorite. I know, rainbow. So Krista says, no Texas and Tennessee. Oh, I should have read your comment. So hold on, let me read back up here. I was working on my polymer clay cowboy boot earrings for Texas, but they're not playing nice with me right now. I have been working with polymer clay too, oddly enough, just not for earrings. I've been making myself some pattern weights. I have wanted to make donut pattern weights for like 1,000 years. And in trying to like get myself out of a funk, I got my iPad. I set it up at the table in the dining room / like other room that we don't really use at the table. Put my iPad there, put my headphones in, turned on Harry Potter because the Harry Potter movies are like a comfort movie for me. Like I grew up with those, so you know I kind of tend to, you know, I just want something that was familiar. I put those on, and I just sat and played with clay. I haven't touched my clay stuff in 10 years, you guys. I used to sculpt little teeny tiny, like tiny miniature houses. If you think about like a kid's building block, like a baby block, I used to sculpt little tiny houses on those. Like that was the frame for the house, and I'd cover it in clay, and then I'd make a tiny roof and shingles, and it'd have like a little plot around it, and I'd make a little yard and whatever. And I haven't done those since like about 2008, 2009. And I picked them up again briefly in like 2011. And I used to sell them. I used to turn a lot of them into wine stoppers. So like when you put it in the bottle, it's like a little scenescape on top. And I just haven't touched it in a long time. So I finally got that stuff out, and I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm going to make those pattern weights I've wanted to make forever. So I've made little donut pattern weights. I've made 6 so far. 5 sprinkle donuts and 1 jelly donut. So I made 4 chocolate sprinkle, 1 pink strawberry sprinkle, and a raspberry filled jelly donut, because those are the donuts I like. So I still need to make a blueberry cake donut. I love blueberry cake donuts. And I think there's a couple more I want to make, but that's been kind of my side thing. It hasn't really sparked. I mean, it's not like it's not been fun, but I think that's kind of what finally like sort of woke me up after I spent like many days just kind of in bed and like being super depressed. I was like, I have to do something with myself. So I've just been forcing it, you know, like, but today is really the first day I felt like good. Like I think I'm finally getting out of the woods. So that's been really, really nice. And so I got those 6 done, but I haven't really done much else, and I don't know if I will. I have enjoyed the clay, but like I don't get a lot of time for that, and I really need to focus on the shop. And now that I'm out of this funk, I can get back to that. So, and focus on tutorials and all those things. But it was a nice hiatus, and I'll be very happy to see your cowboy boot earrings. I had originally thought I was going to do a special outfit for Texas, since you guys are coming here on, you know, my home turf, and I had all this stuff planned. I was going to wear like a wild outfit, like a crazy fringe and sequins and boots and all of this, and I just decided, just given everything that's been going on, I'm like, I don't have it in me. I don't let everybody else do the fun stuff. I'm just going to show up and, you know, be the best me possible under the radar, as it were. So I'm not trying to attract any attention at this point. So yeah, but I'm really excited to see. I know Lily from Zarel, Lily LaDuff, she's wearing her, she's got fun outfits. I think she's going to bring the Hulk outfit, so I'm excited to see that. And not the Hulk, I guess it's Hulkamania, like Stone Cold Steve Austin Hulk, not Hulk Smash. So anyway, I'm excited for that, and obviously you'll have cute boot earrings, and I know I'm excited to see, you know, lots of people, so that will be that will be good. But, Krista, I am sorry that you are not coming to Texas or Tennessee. Yes, I'm sure that we will hang out, a bit, at some point at the expo, because that's what we do. But, yeah, I'm sorry that you will not be joining us, Krista. I assume you'll be going to Florida in the fall. I am not going to be at Florida in the fall. I am going to a different expo in Missouri. It is the Oh So Crafty Expo, and I will be vending there. So we'll see how that goes. It's in St. Louis, Missouri at a really nice historic hotel, and it's right across from I think it's the Cardinals ball field right there. And I'm very excited about that prospect. So that'll be kind of a new horizons. I'm actually branching out and doing a lot of new shows this year. So I think previous years I've been doing like 1 or 2 shows, and then I've been doing 1 show with my finished makes. This year I think I'm going to end up doing like 5 or 6 shows with Emporium Threads, specifically with hardware and stuff. So I am really stoked about that. And then just personally for fun and not work, I am going to the Wizardry Getaway Retreat in May. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm just gonna, especially, but given everything that's been going on, I'm like, I want to have fun. That was actually a brainchild of Corey's. I had mentioned about it, and he kind of was like, why don't you go? And I was like, well, I don't know if I really want to spend the money. I think it's a great value for the money, mind you, because everything is included. The cost of it is 5 teachers with 5 classes, 5 kits. Everything is included. You literally just have to either rent a sewing machine or bring your sewing machine and bring the thread. Like, it includes everything for that cost. It includes all of your meals and your lodging. So it's not like, oh, it's, this much for a ticket and then this much for a kit and then this much for this, and that's it. It's out the door. So I had mentioned it just in passing, like, oh, they're doing another one of these things. And he was like, oh, didn't you want to go last time? I said, yeah, I did, but, and I don't know if I want to spend the money. And he goes, no, you should get a ticket. You need to get a ticket. And I just said, oh, I don't know. And he goes, really, you need to get a ticket. You deserve to have some time off, and you really need the time off. And given everything that's been going on, like, you need to go. So I got the ticket, and I'm not sad about it. So I hope that, some people that I know will be there, but I'm also hoping to meet some new people, and I'm excited to go and do that. It's going to be, I'm determined it's going to be a good time, and I think it will be. So I am, I'm bummed though that I'm not going to get to see you, Krista, but I will get to see you, Kristen, and there are lots of other folks joining us that I'm excited to see. All right, this applique is done. I suppose now I need to figure out what I'm supposed to do on this here pattern. Oh my gosh, you guys, earlier when I was yawning, it wasn't even 9 yet. I'm telling you, I'm so old. That's pathetic. I opened my laptop to look at the time, and I was going to be like, oh, I bet you it's like 11. Gee, gosh, I should go to bed. It's 8:58. That's pathetic. This is what I'm telling you. Like, I have been going to bed, like, every night at, like, real early. Most of the time I just kind of end up like doom scrolling on my phone and not going to sleep for a while, but I've been going to bed very early. It's just overall like not been great. I have not been very good to myself. I took myself for a lunch date today. I was out running errands. I went to this little sandwich shop, and I was like, I'm going to get my favorite little sandwich and my favorite little soup and my favorite little dessert, and like I'm just going to be like nice to myself today, Like, I'm not going to beat myself up about stuff. I'm not going to think about messed up things, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to have intrusive thoughts. I'm going to go run my errands, and I'm going to, like, just take myself on a little date. And I did, and it was very nice. And that was also very helpful. I'm trying to, like, practice, I don't know, being nice to myself, I think is really, like, the core thing. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I am going to swap machines now because we're assembling. I will assemble on this other machine. I could definitely do it on here. I just, I don't know. I want to use the Tex 45 thread, which this does not take. At least I don't think it does. I've never tried. And I'm also still trying to decide about this brother machine, if I want to keep it or not. So it would be good for me to be fresh in my mind with that one. It's been a couple, like, I don't know, a while since I've used it. So I will assemble on that machine, and then earlier you guys saw in that video, if you saw, I have those 2 new machines that are here. This part I'll put on the floor, but this is up here. So I want to shoot the unboxing and reviews for those 2 machines, figure out if I like them or not, if I'm going to keep them. I mean, I'm keeping one. I'm not going to keep all of them. That's insane. I don't need to do that. But if I'm going to keep the Brother, if I'm going to keep one of these new ones that came, and then I'll decide, and whichever one I pick is going to go to the wizardry retreat with me. And then when I go get my surgery stuff done, whichever one I pick is going to go with me in the RV. And frankly, we're going to be doing a lot more of these live videos because, again, things changed. I was intending to sew a bunch of finished bags for a fair I was going to do, and I am no longer doing that fair. So now I don't need a whole bunch of bags to sell at a fair I'm not going to. So, you know, that kind of changed my plans. I still have all of these oral surgery things I'm getting done. So I'm still going to take the machine. I'm still going to prep some bags, and we're just going to do live videos. Not quite as long-winded and crazy as this, but we'll do like lots of sew-alongs. I'll let you know what bag I'm doing in case you want to do a sew-along with me. Or you can just hang out and, you know, we'll do projects together. Because it really is nice to hang out and chat. I really enjoy. I mean, I wish I could hear you guys and it wasn't just like text. I suppose we could try to figure out some kind of Zoom situation. But, I don't know, that requires lots of planning and thought. So we'll see, but it is really nice to be able to sit and do a project with y'all. Oh, I did this last time. I literally threw the cord over there, you guys. I didn't plug it in. I'm like, why isn't it working? Duh. Oy. So when that video comes out, I did the same thing on the video. I was like, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, I didn't plug it in. Okay. There we go. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to use this wizardry blue because it matches my stuff. This whole project. And then I guess I need to wind a bobbin. I don't think I'm going to set up the knee lift or any of that. Honestly, just because I don't want to. Okay. And on. Hooray. Success. So this color, I use this color a lot, obviously. I have many rolls of this vinyl. It's a waterproof canvas. I obviously like these kind of minty blue colors. My sewing chair over there is that color. So this is the Wizardry Caribbean Mint. And sorry, I am reading the comments here. This is Caribbean Mint, and I obviously use this color a ton, so this was one of my first choices because it literally goes with so many things. Like anything in this color family, it kind of tends to pick up like what it is. So whether it's more green, more blue, and it kind of melds into that. So let me read back here real quick. Melissa H. Hi, Melissa. She says, oh, I missed the live. So there were, there's been kind of a little bit of a problem. So I had a live video in the Facebook group way earlier today that's published there. Just doing like a little mail opening, kind of just a little chit chat, not a terribly long thing, maybe a half hour, 20 minutes. So that's kind of where everything started. Then I hopped on here on the YouTube and I was streaming through this platform here, and I don't know how long we were on for, chatting and hanging out. And I frankly ate dinner and we kind of took a break. I cut all of these pieces out on my Cricut, and we talked about Cricut cutting and all that, and just general chit chat. And then my phone died because I forgot to plug it in. So I looked over and it was like, everybody's gone. It's black screen. So now we're back. And so this portion has started an hour in. So I'm sorry for the confusion. So technically, yes, you missed one, but also technically this started an hour ago. You didn't miss anything crazy. Obviously, it will get published to the channel when YouTube, they take a while to upload things. So obviously, if you're watching this live now, you can watch it in real time. But when I get off, they take anywhere from like 6 to 30 hours to publish something. So that first portion, unfortunately, but you didn't really miss anything. I mean, we're just, you know, chit-chatting, hanging out. It's not like you can't come in here right now and chill. The live I was just referring to, sorry, dropped my bobbin. The live that I was referring to in regards to this machine and my plans changing, that was actually a live published in January on the group, like January 8th, somewhere around there. I was just logging on, telling everybody about my kind of plans for the year and what was going on, and those plans are no longer happening. Let's put it that way. So, you know, pivoting to what I was saying in that video, which, like, obviously none of that is going on now. I am still kind of choosing to move forward with parts of it, just not other parts. So that's where we're at. So that was what I was referencing as far as that live goes, but I know, confusing. So many lives. Okay, I need to get set up here. I mentioned this earlier on the live today, that because I've been filming all of these unboxing and review videos for these machines, I like cleared my whole desk off so I can put the machine here and do stuff. So now nothing is where it's supposed to be. Like, I don't have snips and everything over here. I have clips, which, by the way, you guys, side note, but if you're a shop Disney person, I bought this when I was at Disney last year, I believe, actually, during, like, at SME. I got a Disney World. But, like, shopdisney.com, if you're a Haunted Mansion fan, I'm a Haunted Mansion fan. I love Haunted Mansion and I love containers. So I saw this in a store. Okay, it's, like, really sizable. I have big hands. This is a good sized jar. It's all the friggin' tombstones from Haunted Mansion. They are, like, nested on here, kind of sculpted or whatever into this. I love it. I love the colors of it. I love the texture of it. So I thought it was a jar. It is a jar, but it came with a candle in it, and the candle smells like Haunted Mansion. And the candle was like black purple wax. I burned the whole thing. I loved it. I had to clean it out though and keep the jar, and it's like a really nice jar, so I'm using it for my clips. And it is the perfect clips jar. I have big hands and I can get my paws in here and hold my clips. This is like a third of my clips. I have a lot of clips and it's deep. There's a lot of clips in there, man. And so I could fit way more clips in here. And then it has the lid. And I love green, like deep greens. So anyway, I was saying I need to get my desk organized. I don't have anything around me. I do have clips, but I need to get all my other stuff here. So anyway, at least I'm catching this part. Yes, you can watch the earlier ones later. I always publish all of them. Yes, I am using the Brother PQ1500 SL at the moment. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this machine or not. I ordered it, and the reason I ordered it, again, the plans kind of changed for that. So I have been experimenting with it. I do like the machine. There are some things I don't like. This is what I was just saying earlier. There are things that I love and then things that I don't love about it. So I'm trying to decide if I want to keep it. I really ultimately want a machine with a... Why are you doing this? this. Sorry. I want a machine that has like the equivalent of a servo motor. This machine does not. It's only foot control. And my problem with that is the foot pedal does not seem to have great control. It kind of likes to take off when it wants to. It's a little bit unpredictable. Even though I'm only pressing on it a tiny bit, it like takes off and goes berserk. And I don't love that because when you're top stitching and stuff, I'm just afraid it is going to ruin a bag. And I have had it do that a few times. So that's one of my big complaints. There's a few other things I don't like, but ultimately I actually really like it. So I'm very torn. And it's a really good price point. So I have been ordering other machines to try out. I already sent one back. I did a review and unboxing of this one. And then I did a review and unboxing of that other one. I already sent the other one back. I did not like that. It was not for me. So I got 2 more machines to try. And if I like those better, I'll send this one back. And if not, I'll be keeping this one. So far, this one's the winner. And I do really like it. So I don't know. But there are just those few things I don't love. So we'll have to see. But yes, Brother PQ 1500 SL. And I did talk about that in the live video on the group, what I was doing with all that and just all that stuff. So you can tune into that one if you like. It's also been a minute since I wound this bobbin and it's different than my others, so I have to remember what I'm doing. Yeah, ultimately, I do really like this machine. There are just a few things that I'm like, damn it, if it had this. Honestly, if it had, the servo motor style where you could control the speed on the machine a little bit, or the foot pedal was just really dialed in, which it's not, I would be done. I wouldn't keep hunting. I do really like the machine, but there are just those few things that I'm like, damn. And it makes me feel like I can't trust it because it has eaten a couple of projects. Not eaten it, but like, eating it up, so. Oh, sewing through your fingers. See, that's exactly, knock on wood, I have never sewn through my fingers. I have hit a fingernail. That is actually one of the reasons why I keep my fingernails long. I have a thyroid issue. And so my fingernails are very, very thin and they don't grow. These are actually my natural nails. No tips, but if I have no acrylic on top of my natural nails, they're so thin, they'll just rip right off and they get papery. It's a problem. So I do just keep acrylic dip on them at all times. And if I do that, they're great. I've had no tips on my nails for well over a year now. Every time you guys see my nails, they're my natural nails. But that is one of the reasons actually with sewing that I keep acrylic nails, because I have had nail strikes that literally my nails being thick and having acrylic on them have protected like sewing through my finger. So I will probably never not have acrylic even when I keep them short. I'll do some kind of dip because that is terrifying to me. So, let me see. So obviously she says she has that machine. I bought it for quilting. I've struggled with bag making on it sometimes. It's interesting that you say that. I mean, it is a semi-industrial. I have not struggled with it yet, but I also haven't made anything, I've made real bags, but I haven't been making anything like, crazy, hugely beefy. But there are also kind of tips and tricks, that you learn to cope with to get through. Prior to having my industrial, which I've only had for a couple of years, I made everything on that machine I just had set up before I set this one up. My plain old domestic Husqvarna Viking, which I also bought for quilting. So, frankly, my personal opinion about this one is I feel like it's kind of too heavy duty for quilting unless you're making some thick quilts. I always make Southern style quilts that have thin batting, and I feel like this thing would eat them. So that to me is like, ooh, I don't know about all that. I feel like it would be really, really thick. Let me see. I agree with it taking off. Yeah. I mean, that taking off thing really scares me. Mostly, yeah, my fingers, but also my project. Like, again, if it's vinyl, that's why I did not do this applique on there. We were having that discussion. I got this set up and then I went, no, never mind. Because I can't dial it in enough to make sure it's not going to mess it up. But the Viking is very dialed in. I don't ever have a problem with it when I do that. I haven't sewn with a foot pedal in years since I got my brother machine and my embroidery machine. So how do you sew, Christy? Do you just the button? Do you do stop start on the machine? My Husqvarna Viking has stop start on the machine. So I don't really use it very often. I have before, but mostly I do the pedal. But the Viking also has up and down on the speed. You can control it. And that was one of the things when it was sold to me that she said, look, like, you're a beginner and I know you might think you don't want it. And I was thinking, yes, I do want it. And I was happy that I got it. So, you know, that was a good thing. That she sold it to me, and I still use it to this day. I would consider myself a pretty proficient sewist. I dumb the speed down on my machine, and I dumb it down all the time on my industrial. I am so glad I got a servo motor on that. I don't regret it for a minute, and I would not have bought one without the servo motor. So yeah, this guy, it concerns me a little bit. The other two that have arrived, they have servo motors, you know, the equivalent of it in a semi-industrial, and the one that I already sent back also had one. I just didn't like anything else about it. This one I do like, but you know, you only get so much that, you know, can be perfect about it, I guess, right? It's been a while since I've threaded this one, and now I'm like, which way does it go? And I've been doing all these machine reviews, so each one is a little bit different, and now I'm just like fully messed up. So hopefully I thread it right. Right. This one is pretty no. What did I do? I might need to grab the little guide because seriously, it's been a couple of weeks and then I was just playing with another one. So now I'm all messed up. I think I've only threaded this thing like 6 times. Let me see. I love that it comes with this little handy dandy chart. It's so much nicer. One of the other ones that I bought, it did not come with that, and it drove me crazy. It's like, I gotta figure this out myself every time. There we go. That's better. Oh, that's winding a bobbin. Never mind. Okay, so it goes this way. This one is pretty similar to my industrial though, like almost exactly. There's only a couple things that are a little bit different about it. Okay, that's where I messed up. Check spring here, under here. There we go. That's better. And then my only problem on this one is I don't love the needle threader. I don't think it's horrible or anything. I just think it could be better. And it doesn't exactly love the Tex 45 thread. It does work, and I'm getting better at it as time goes on. See, I got that one on the first try. That was pretty good. Normally I have to do it like 5 times. So, you know, I put my scraps away. I'm going to grab a scrap to make sure I threaded this right. I don't trust myself yet. I said I wasn't going to set up the knee lift, but now I'm trying to use it and it's not there. Okay, well, the tension's happy, so, and everything else looks good. So I'm happy. Okay, well, I know for a fact. Oh, duh. I was like, where did all my bag pieces go? I know for a fact we're going to have to sew the pocket and its lining together. Let me like double check on how, but that's the first step. I haven't cut any of my gusset pieces or anything because, like I said, I wasn't sure how far we were going to get into this. And y'all, I keep looking at the clock thinking it's like midnight and it's 9:19. I'm so old. I need to like get over this. I can't just I just keep thinking, oh, it's bedtime. Pathetic. Pathetic. Okay. I also haven't decided on my connectors yet. Still, I don't know if this is gonna be with her connectors from the pattern or not. I haven't decided. I need this little guy. Ooh. I am like really in love with this little seam guide thing that I got from SME from Salty Sews, you guys. I love this thing. I really, really do. I have been using it a ton, because I lost my regular like seam guide, but you just pop the needle in here and you can use it. And then of course it came with a magnet thing. Half the time I don't even use the magnet, especially if I'm doing curves. I don't really like that, but I love having a like vision point on here if it's not marked. So the seam allowance they're asking for in the pattern on here is not marked. And so I love having a situation, a landmark to look at in this situation where it's not marked. It's really, really nice. And it's really nice when you use it the right way too. I was like, what? Okay, so that's where I want to be right there. I am not the best with curved sewing. So sometimes on a curved piece like this, by the way, I am not hesitant to mark out my seam allowance if I really feel like, and on this one, because I really want to make sure I keep the cute little heart shape, I might, but we'll have to see. Mine has a slide for speed adjustment. Yes, I wish that that's what this one had. The other one I tried had that. That wasn't my complaint about it. Almost everything else about it was my complaint about it. I'll wait until that review comes out, and I also don't want to offend anybody because I know that machine, I kind of feel like I'm probably going to catch some heat for it, for not liking it, but I just didn't. I did not think it was worth the money. I did not like it. I think this machine, which was a lot cheaper, few $100s cheaper, is a more superior machine, which I was kind of surprised about. That was not what I expected exactly. And I'm probably going to catch heat for all of that because it's one of those machines that everybody's like, oh, I have that one. But the funnier thing is when you go in the groups and you search for the name of that machine, a lot of what you see is complaints, frankly. So that also kind of made me laugh because it's like, it doesn't want to sew through stuff, and there's a lot of issues, and it's like, okay, well, and then I'm not heartbroken about not keeping it because I didn't like the user experience. But again, I'll let the review, kind of speak for itself. We kind of go through all the features and stuff like that, and I just, it wasn't bad. It's just this was better and it's cheaper. So, why would you keep that? But the slider issue was not the problem. I was really excited about it because it had the adjustable speed. So I was like, this will be perfect. It's got everything this one has plus the adjustable speed, and then it was not good. So, just the button. Mine has a slider for speed. You're making me wonder if it was my machine. It could be. I don't know. It's one that I see a lot. Again, no like shade on anybody who has it. There's no problem with that. It just was not for me, and I have the ability to test them and check them out. So like, why would I keep it if I had never used anything else? Like if I hadn't seen this one, I probably would have been fine with it, but it was like, oh, like this isn't, good. The other problem is I am doing, so my machine history, right? I started off with like the crappiest machine in the world that didn't sew and like had me in tears and it was the worst. And I just, all that, right? Then I went to my domestic machine, which is a very nice domestic machine. And it frankly is a good domestic machine that can handle things that a lot of domestics apparently can't. It was news to me when I joined these sewing groups because I'd already been bag making, but all the bag patterns I had made were ones I had bought at quilt shops. So like I had bought paper swoon patterns before I ever knew they had a Facebook group, before I ever knew they had videos. I didn't know about any of that stuff. I'm just like, I got sick of quilting and I was like, oh, maybe I'll make a bag. A bag would be fun. So I was buying paper patterns. Like, I was going to Joann's and looking at the books of, like, these terrible, terrible patterns for bags. And there aren't that many of them. So here I am making, like, the worst bags in the world. But they were, you know, cute and fun. I didn't know all these cute bags existed. It wasn't until somebody said, like, hey, have you ever tried a PDF pattern? And I was like, what's a PDF pattern? That I discovered all of this. I didn't know any of this existed. So it was news to me when I get into these groups and people were saying, oh, you can never make these bags on a domestic. And I'm like, what? You know, that was like weird to me. And I thought, but I do, and I am, and I did, and I am. So that was kind of funny. And then I kind of discovered that it's not every domestic, and, you know, it's a difference of opinion and whatever. But I, up until seriously about, I guess it was almost 3 years ago, 2020, late 2020, is when I bought my industrial machine. And I only bought it because I wanted to. I didn't need it. My Viking has never met a vinyl bag it couldn't do, ever. I mean, layers and layers and all the things I've made and done. Most of my portfolio of, like, my stuff on my business page that I have made was all made on that. So, and I still sew on it all the time. So for me, I went from that to an industrial that's like a big boy industrial, a big one. I mean, that thing could probably sew like 2 car hoods together. So I kind of jumped, like, I just have a weird thing. So now I'm in the middle going, okay, well, I'll look at the semi-industrials. And I have this weird thing because some of them I'm trying and I'm going, but my domestic is better than this. But my industrial is a lot better than this. So I like front loaded everything, if that makes sense. So my opinion is weird even for me because I'm going, but my industrial is so much better. Okay, but this is not for that. This is for travel. This is for bag making travel. This is for future teaching opportunity. Like, this is for other things. I can't travel with that monster. So, you know, anyway, that's kind of my problem. I'm looking at this going, but my Viking's better than this one, and I already have that. So yeah, it's a little tough. I don't want to, like, rag on any machine. I don't want to say anything bad. And if I hadn't used all these other machines and had the experiences I had, I think my opinion would be vastly different. I think I probably would have just been like, this is the greatest machine in the world and it's so good. But because I have all of these other things to compare it to, you know, I've touched a lot of machines and I've dealt with a lot of machines. So, you know, unfortunately, that means that I have a pretty, I don't know, I mean, a pretty good depth of, like, of feel for these in general. I mean, it's not like I've used every machine ever, but I've used a lot of them and in a lot of different ways. And so I can kind of tell, like, oh, that motor just kind of seems like it sucks, or it doesn't sound very pretty, or this thread cutter doesn't work very well compared to these 5 other machines I've used thread cutters on. This one kind of sucks, you know, or the bobbin winding is sucky. I don't like the way this one does it. It could have been a lot more straightforward. Things like that. So anyway, yeah. I think I actually will get the magnet for this because there is no line on this one. That is one of my complaints. I probably could get a new throat plate. I like to have the lines. I actually really don't like having this magnet in the way. It's really tough on curves, the magnet. This is a pretty broad curve, so I might be okay, but I think I'm going to have a problem when I get into here. So, anyway, kind of read back on here. I've had similar experiences with bag making. I see people all the time. They say they can't make bags on my machine, and I'm like, I do. Hell, I make bags on a lesser machine. Elizabeth, hi, Elizabeth. She says she's my SME stalker. We kept running into each other all the time. And then I, like, when I get to chatting with somebody, I end up, like, not that you made me nervous, Elizabeth, but I don't have, like, anxiety or anything like that, but I get kind of nervous, and I definitely, like, overshared, and then later was like, what an idiot. Why did I say all that stuff to her? Like, whoa, weird. But anyway, we're basically best friends now because I told her my entire everything. I'm kidding, but, you know, Anyway, so yeah, she was my SME stalker. At one point, we even ended up parking next to each other in the parking lot, you guys. Like, I go out to my car, and she was, like, in her car next to my car. And it happened all weekend, and I was like, okay, whatever, this is happening, so I'm just gonna let it happen. So that really cracked me up. So hello from Alaska. We still have not made it back up there, but we've been talking about it. I told my husband all the stuff you told me when we were talking at SME, and we're like, I don't know when we're gonna do it, but at some point, we're going. Like, I want to go. I really want to take a, like, long road trip up there, because I really enjoyed my very short amount of time I spent up there, and I want to go back. And I want to go back with him, because I think he would think it's very beautiful. Kristen, remind me what machine you have. I don't remember so good. Krista, tell me what machine you have. I would be interested to know. I'm not going to tell you what machine it is, but I would be interested to know. I have kind of a bad vase filter, so you might end up knowing if it's your machine or not. Kristen says I'm scared too. Look, through all of this talk though, seriously, I make no judgments on who has what. I don't, because you know what? Every budget is different. Every experience is different. And again, I'm the person who wandered into a store a million years ago and was like, any sewing machine is just as good as any other sewing machine. I'm going to buy this $150 Singer, and it's going to be just as good as all the other ones. Like, of course, that was completely naive of me to assume if that was the case, why would anybody buy a more expensive machine? I get it now. So, I pass no judgments whatsoever, and I pass no judgments on people for the machines they have, purely just reviewing the machine, for what it is. And it's really mostly for informational purposes. It's like, if you're looking for this machine and you're asking all these questions, they're questions I have. Like, when I ordered it, it's like, does it come with this? Does it come with that? Does it suck? Is it good? So that's what's in the machine reviews. It's not like to make anybody feel bad if they have it, or if they wanted it, or if they can't afford it. None of that. It's just purely informational. Like, are you on the hunt for a machine? I am also on the hunt for the machine. Let's go hunting together, and I will tell you what I find. And then you can decide if you want it. That's it. That's it. So by the way, on this piece for the pocket, this is the optional pocket, and I am doing right sides together, waterproof canvas and vinyl. And we're starting just over here at the edge, and we're going to go from edge to edge on this. This is on a really long seam allowance. So I'm going to go for like a 3.5. That's usually what I assemble on. I was just using the Viking, so now I want to push the button here that doesn't exist. This is the problem when you use multiple machines all the time. If you're really careful with your foot on this machine, it's okay. But you gotta go so slow on it, because if you even give it just a little bit too much, even an ounce more, it'll take off and just eat everything. And I so wish it didn't do that. It had a better dialed in foot pedal. Because if it did, man oh man, I'm telling you, this machine, especially for what it costs, brand new out of the box with tons of accessories, it's $7.99 with free shipping. That's a friggin' deal. It is a deal, and it's better than the one. All the other ones I've had have been, this is what I don't like about the Magnon curves, by the way. Like, it's got these wings, and the wings get in the way, and so it kind of pushes stuff out of whack a little bit. And I think my seam allowance is going to be off right there, but we'll see. Anyway, if it did not have this one problem, you guys, I'm telling you, like, I wouldn't hesitate to keep it, because for $800, that's a friggin' steal. And it comes with so much stuff. These other ones are more expensive, and so far I have not been any more impressed by them. They have a longer list of features, but they didn't do a good job on the features. So that's kind of where I am at. It's like, okay, so you've got a longer list of stuff, but you're like Denny's now. Like, you have so many things on the menu, you didn't do any of them very good. Pick 4 things and just do them really well. Don't do the, trying to cover everything thing. And now you're not doing so good at it. Okay. Well, it didn't do so bad. In that little curve right there where it hit the magnet, I got like one little wonky thing. So we'll turn it and we'll see if I can live with it. If I, can't, then I don't know. This is that optional pocket on the bag. And I'm really just doing this because honestly, I'll probably cut out the other pockets because I'm feeling lazy. I might do a zippered pocket inside. We'll see. We'll see how I feel later. What was that thing that used to go on, like online a couple years ago, like the feeling cute might zipper pocket later? Might delete later or whatever it was, I don't know. Okay, well I have to clip all of that, but like just in this rough layout, it doesn't look so bad. I could probably deal with it. I just had kind of a weird little brainchild creativity. What if you made this? This is the slip pocket, K, but like you'd fold it out cute. I'm not finished with this, obviously. I gotta clip it. What if you made this? It's like a heart, like the top of like a bustier. You could make this look all cute with like lace and make it look like a little bodice on the bag. You could make it cute. That's a really cute idea for this. That will be fun. We have new people who have joined us, so I'm just gonna show off my applique from earlier. This is I'm doing the pocket now, but this is my front main panel. We did this earlier at the beginning. This is the applique. Ain't she cute? It's a heart-shaped bag, and I'm making like a conversation heart. And it's metallic vinyl. So it's very like in your face. Okay, I'm gonna turn this right back out. I'm gonna clip this. I don't know exactly what she's asking for. I'm probably gonna trim this seam allowance down. I don't think she tells us to, but I'm gonna. And then I'm gonna pink it with my pinking shears. But this is a little bit too, this is a big seam allowance, and I don't wanna leave all that. And I think it'll end up being a lot nicer without it. And I am gonna set this aside because I think I'm gonna do a magnetic snap on this pocket in the middle on the inside. I would like it to stay closed a little bit. So I have no idea if you're still on here, Elizabeth, but how you been, dude? How's Alaska treating you? Like a week ago, it felt like Alaska here. Alaska in your warm temps probably, but still frigid and cold. Okay, hold on. I gotta go back and read all these. Okay. Reviews will be valuable. I know I struggled trying to find an upgrade. I agree with you on that, Kristen, which is another reason I thought to do it. So many of the reviews are very general, and it's usually from the company, and it's usually like just for sewing, quilting, cotton. And so specifically, I mean, I know what I'm looking for at this point as a bag maker. I know features that I value, and I know features that like the companies don't even bother to advertise, right? So I'm sitting over here going, you know, does it come with like what stuff's on the throat plate, or like how can I access the bobbin, or like there are just features that they don't even highlight, and until it shows up on my doorstep and then I look at the thing, I'm going, oh, it came with that. Like, that's amazing. That's so good. And they didn't even put that in the description when they were selling it. So that's, and like not even on their official website. So all the machines that I bought so far, what I'm limiting my scope to is machines you can buy on Amazon, because that means they're pretty much accessible to everybody. It also means they have a return policy if you don't like it. Because, you know, dealers, they're not taking anything back. It also means that if you don't live by a dealer, you know, you can get this delivered. And then that also means the price is going to be pretty much the same for everybody across the board, instead of going to a dealer where prices can fluctuate. So I'm limiting it right now to machines that are accessible to basically everybody, that are under a $1,500 price point. So brand new at that cost, $1,500 or under, and basically what you get for that money within that scope. So that's kind of the general like narrowed down of like why I'm trying the machines I'm trying, and then from there it's like if they apply to bag making and whatever. And so, you know, I'm hoping that that will help a lot of people, because not everybody has the same dealers. Obviously, everybody doesn't have the same budget, but they don't even have the same accessibility. And so I want to, you know, make it as accessible as possible. Some of these machines, you have to go to a very specialty place. You have to get, you know, crazy freight on them. There's so much that you have to do. And it's like, well, not everybody can do that. So I'm really glad if you can, but not everybody can. And then the other thing is, you know, at a dealer, sometimes you just don't like it. And I am always afraid to commit to something that I don't like when it comes to a big monetary purchase. So if it sucks, I want to be able to return it. And I'm so glad that second machine, I'm really happy I was able to return it, because for me, it just didn't work. So, you know, you need to be able to do it. I think in the end, I don't know, I really don't want to keep this one because I don't like that I don't have the control that I want. But I have 2 more machines to try, and if not them, it's going to be this one, because I'm not going to pay more money for a machine that I like less. That's just stupid. So if I like them more than this one, then this one will end up going back. And you know, at least I've thoroughly tested it for whoever gets it next. And I know it's not a lemon, because I have had machines right out of the box just like not work. Okay, let's see if this folded out a little more nicey nice. And then I will top stitch it right now across the top, just because that's not going to affect me putting the magnetic snap in. I might do. Let's see. Okay, I think I was disconnected for a minute, and then it said attempting to reconnect, and I don't know if I lost you guys, so sorry if I did. It's like an internet thing. I'm not sure what happened there. I got like a red banner saying I wasn't connected. Let's see, reviews will be valuable. So that was the last comment I read. Go slow and pivot. Thank you for the tips, Gypsy. That's one of those things, actually, the pivoting thing. Needle down position. Some of these machines don't have needle down position, like where you lift the foot or the knee lift and the needle stays down. For me, that's like, if it doesn't have that, I'm not buying it, because I use that so much in bag making for curves and applique work. I mean, like, that is a need to have feature. And when I first bought my machine, that Viking, it has that, but I didn't know to ask. I got lucky, y'all. I really, really did. I got so lucky that you know, I was able to have those features, because then when I got into this stuff after stopping quilting and other things, it was like, oh, well, this is great. I got a machine with really big throat space by accident. I got a machine with needle up and down position by accident. I got a machine where you could throttle the speed by accident. But again, you know, other people are not so lucky. They buy the wrong machine, and then now they've invested and they're stuck. And then it's like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have bought this one. So it's like, if somebody told you, you know, I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping to be. Like, I'm hoping to do it, you know, so you don't have to. And now you'll know, and you can, you know, make good choices. Yeah, that curve's really nice now that I got it all put out here. So, let's see. Kristen said she has the Juki TL 2010, and Krista laughed. Krista, why are you laughing? Do you have the same machine? And Kristen says, I had a brother embroidery combo before. I actually loved it. I pushed it past its limits. I just make what I have work for me. I'm stubborn in that way. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think you should. I think that's a character, you know, whatever. A bit of character that's maybe lost today. You got to work with what you have, because otherwise it's endless. You'll always need something else, and at a certain point that gets exhausting, both financially and just like the amount of stuff you have to have. I am getting to that age where, like, I never really cared about how much stuff I had, and now I'm like, oh my god, why do I have all this stuff? I don't want all this stuff. And so I'm like selling things and just parsing down, and it's like, you know, I hate to bring up the Marie Kondo thing, but it's like, if this doesn't bring me joy and I don't love it, like, get out of my sight, get out of my face. Like, just, I don't need it. Because I just am like, For so long, you guys, I didn't even have a cam press. Like, I'm over here setting stuff. I used a hammer, like, from my garage and a little anvil that I got off Amazon. I refused to buy a cam press. I love my cam press, don't get me wrong. But sometimes I'm like, do I really need to spend that? I used to set them just fine with the hammer, you know? My husband would come in here like I'm banging away with the big hammer, and he's like, what are you doing in here? Which, he's not surprised. I'm always doing something, but you know, I'm like, oh, I'm making purses as I'm like hammering away. That's not news to him, but one of the things I also don't like about this machine, and I'm hoping to run across another one, I wish it was magnetic. Like, no part of this machine is magnetic. Not the bed. Well, the bed is a little bit. The only part that is the throat space, and it drives me bonkers, you guys. I want to put snips on it, and I can't, and so that really bums me out. I keep hoping when these other machines show up, I'm like, please be magnetic, and they're not. And I just wish they were. So when I'm finally sure if I'm going to keep this one, I'm going to, like, I don't know, glue something on it or do something, because I can't deal with this. I need the snips. They're just on the side right now, so whatever. Whatever. Okay. The Bag Lady Studio. Hello, Bag Lady Studio. I don't know your real name, but we'll just call you Bag Lady Studio. So she says, I have the same machine and I love it. I have it and and it has taken off on me before. Yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, for being, you know, not a full industrial machine, it's got bite to it, and I'm just really careful. I don't mind sewing slow. That's never been a problem for me. I'm a slow sewer. But I'm definitely like slow and steady wins the race kind of type, but man, it freaks me out a little bit. Oh, wrong machine. There's no button there. Yeah, I am always afraid. I am one of those types. I don't typically have to touch the stove myself to know it's hot, right? There are two types of people out there. Some who can learn from other people's lessons very well, and then others who have to do it themselves. I'm 50-50, but like I try to be really careful about like certain safety things and just all kinds of stuff, right? So like I'm not about to hurt myself. I'm always trying not to and being really careful and being really conscious. So since I know that this machine has some bite to it, I don't push it because I just know what it's capable of. It's funny, I expected more people on earlier. Y'all are some night owls. I wasn't expecting to have this many people on this late. I kind of figured it'd be like me all by my lonesome. And if you guys are, you know, into this, starting, what is it? Let's see, late March is going to be kind of the first. That's when I'm taking off from here, and I will be back in Arizona staying with my in-laws, but I'll be in the RV. So basically, if you hadn't caught my lives before, oh, what happened here? I think I have a skipped stitch, y'all. Well, that's annoying. That's the first time this machine's ever done that to me. Boo. Luckily it's not too noticeable, but this is only going through one layer of vinyl, one layer of waterproof canvas, and I have not had it do that. This needle might be getting kind of dull, so I might need to change it. Anyway, starting in late March, I don't remember the exact dates off the top of my head right now, but I will be undergoing a bunch of these oral surgery things that I was talking about. So, oh, y'all, this thing is skipping stitches all over the place. Why? Why are you doing that? Oh, look at that. Skip stitch, skip stitch, skip stitch. Well, that's obnoxious. I've never had it do that before. It's literally skipping at like the exact same intervals. I've been using this machine for several projects now. Well, shoot, little machine, if you don't get your stuff together, you're definitely going back. I ain't gonna tolerate no skip stitches. And here I was talking about how good it was and how much I liked it. Oi. Let me grab the seam ripper. How annoying. And we're gonna start that over. And then I'm gonna have to hand crank it so I can go in the damn holes that I just made. What a bummer. I need to grab my seam ripper. Well, that's obnoxious. Good news is at least it's easy to rip stitches out in vinyl, but like, how stupid. All right, those of you who have this machine, why is it skipping stitches? What's it unhappy about? I've never had it be unhappy before, and I've been doing zippers and all kinds of stuff. Did you leave us for a moment, Elizabeth? I think I saw something about you saying that you had a... It's fine, this is part 2 of this video because I was on earlier and I didn't plug my phone in and it died. So the whole live stream just got messed up. I don't even know if that one's gonna publish, to be honest with you. I hope it does, but I don't know. So, oops. It's not like anybody missed much of anything. I was eating chicken, talking about dipping sauces and doing Cricut cutting work. It was a riot. I'm kidding. Oh, I'm so annoyed. I've never had this machine skip stitches in all the bags that I've made so far. And this is like stupid. This is literally what? A total of 2 layers, maybe 4 if it happens to catch a little end of like the little pinking shear part. Well, that's just silly. Silly and dumb. So I suppose we'll try changing the needle. I don't think I did the bobbin weird or anything, and it was fine upon assembly. I don't think it was skipping stitches, so now it's like it wants to be unhappy. Nothing like a little nighttime seam unpicking. So anybody else that's on here right now currently, I know Kristen is joining me in Texas for So Magical Expo. Is anybody else coming to Texas So Magical Expo? Because I will be excited to see, obviously, everybody who's there. Hopefully by then I'll have my hair done. I'm wearing this headband because I have the worstest roots in the world right now. They are terrible. I need a little bit of maintenance, y'all. I am getting a little decrepit. Finally got out to get my nails done, which was good because they were like way overgrown. Okay, well, before this mess started, what I was saying was, starting in March, I will be heading back out to Arizona for like the situation is fluid. I don't really know where I'm going to be for about 6 to 8 weeks. Originally, we thought I was going to be there the whole time getting all of these different surgeries and stuff done and these little procedures to get all this oral stuff taken care of. Now, I'm not so sure if I won't be gone for like 2 weeks and then maybe another 2 weeks, and I don't know. But I will be living at my in-laws' property. They have a couple of acres, and so I'm just going to set up, camp essentially there in the RV on their property because they live really close to the dentist that I'm actually using to get all this done is someone they've been using for like 30 years and they know and trust, and this is a ton of work, and not only is it cosmetic, but it's, medical as well. So I don't trust just anybody to deal with it, and I've never really found a dentist out here I'm crazy about. But, anybody can kind of clean teeth, so that's fine. I just don't want to have all this other stuff done, by just anybody. So they've both had like work done, root canals and crowns and things, and it's always been really good. So I trust, that he's been properly vetted for a long time. And obviously at this point I've met this dentist and he's really nice, and he agreed to kind of take my case on and do all this stuff. But the plan is that while I am there, if I can actually do these things, originally the plan was that I was going to be sewing up bags for a fair, like bags to sell, but I'm no longer going to that fair. So now I figured, well, I'll just still prep bag kits, bring them with me in the RV, and then we can kind of do like sew-alongs and, this, hanging out, doing, nothing, bags, sewing bags. So that was the thought, and still is the thought. And so if you're like, oh, hey, like, this is fun, I want to do this, I want to do bags, I'll post in the group, like in my Facebook group, what bag I'm going to do that day, like what kit I'm going to pull out. I'm basically prepping kits for myself at that time so that I don't have to prep them in the RV, because I don't really have space for that. If I were my screwdriver, where would I be? It was here. Where did you go? How annoying. Okay, well, I think there's one in this box. There is one in this box. I don't know how to change the needle on this. I haven't even done it yet. There we go. Yeah, that needle feels a little dull. It's not great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. So, let's see, shall we? If this fixes it. I'm going to be really mad if it doesn't. I definitely almost just dropped all those needles on myself. So anyway, yeah, if you're like, oh, I'm into this and I think it's fun and whatever, I will obviously have a machine with me. I make no guarantees because I don't know. We're not 100% sure what all, like, things we're gonna be, doing so far. So it's a bit of a fluid situation. I'm too old for this and I cannot see. I think that's right. It's a bit of a fluid situation, but my hope is that, I'll basically have a procedure that same day, maybe the next day. I'm not doing anything. So you're not going to see me. But the following days, I'm hopeful that I will feel, good enough to do something while I'm basically just kind of like hanging out and healing. And between different procedures and things, there may be, up to like, 4 days to a week recovery time. So I'll just be kind of hanging out there, like not doing anything. My in-laws are super sweet people, love them to death. They don't really go out or do much though. And, I'm also not trying to like intrude on their entire lives. while I'm there. So, you know, I mean, I kind of need to figure out stuff to do on my own, right? So the general idea is, you know, yeah, I'm sure I'll hang out with them, but I'm not trying to, like, make them entertain me for 8 weeks. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if this fixes it. I'm going to use this scrap first, and we'll run a few trials here. I mean, it looks happier. Hell if I know. I don't know why it would be skipping stitches like that. I'm gonna twist it and see if I can replicate it. And see, this is 2 layers of vinyl, so like it really shouldn't be doing that. It's not skipping now. I don't know. Maybe it's a dull needle. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, the idea is I'll need something to do, so I kind of figured, oh, I'll pre-prep bag kits. They'll just be 110% in the bag. The hardware, I'll pre-interface them. They will be like done. So I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff with you. I'm just going to pull out like, hey, let's do a blah, blah, blah bag today. And then I'll just pull it out and I'll have it all ready to go. There won't be any like cutting or obviously Cricut work or any of that. And I hope to bring, you know, several bags with me, and then again, we'll just have to see, like, maybe I'm going to be so out of it and miserable, you know, there's just no way I'll be doing anything. Some of the procedures are more major, some of them are more minor, and we're not even really sure exactly what we're going to have to do until we kind of get in there and figure out, you know, what we have to do. So that's the sitch, that's the haps, and that will be going on. There might even be like a second wave of it. It might end up being 2 short trips instead of 1 long one. I'm hoping it'll be 1 short one, or 1 long one, excuse me, because I really don't want to go back and forth. But, you know, I'm doing what I gotta do. I've been dragging around all of this stuff with me for like a billion years, and I'm so ready to have it done with. I'm just also incredibly nervous and scared to have all this dental work done, because it's kind of my teeth and, you know, sort of permanent. So don't screw it up. But you can expect more of this kind of whatever this is, whatever you want to call it. Corey will be staying here because he's got to work. Somebody has to take care of our animals, and somebody has to take care of the store. I don't want to close the store for 8 weeks, so I am, you know, doing all of that. But anyway, somebody, you know, I'm going to be doing all of that, and then, you know, he'll be here fulfilling the store orders, holding down the fort essentially. So really weird, you know, whole situation. So let's see. I read these comments. Kristen, what are you doing? Kristen says, one day I'll have an industrial and I'll probably think it's magic and wonder how I did it before. You probably will, honestly. Now I have the industrial. I purposefully don't do my tutorials on the industrial because I don't want people to think that they have to have an industrial to do what I'm doing. That's not the case. And I am definitely not like pushy or like pro industrial. I'm not anti-industrial, but everything I've ever done, if you look at my profile of work, I've done on a regular machine, and they're not crazy expensive. I don't buy the crazy top of the line. My industrial machine with the servo motor and all the bells and whistles it has, it was only $1,700 delivered fully assembled. Okay, so I am not, if you want to spend more, that's great, but I am not that advocate of, oh, you have to spend $2,000, you have to get this, you have to get that. No, I am not that person. I will never be that person. I am a, you know, bargain hunter, but I also believe you get what you pay for. So like you have to strike a balance in the middle. You can't really go the cheapest and then expect the greatest thing. And I don't believe in just paying a whole bunch of money for a name when you can get good quality for cheaper elsewhere. So That's me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's been me my whole life in everything I do. So you probably will think it's magic. And I love my industrial and I do use it a lot, but I strive to do all of my tutorials on a regular machine because I want people to have faith that they can use their machine and not get scared. And I've heard people tell me that before where they're like, well, all of these are done on an industrial machine, which means I can't do it. And it's like, no, that's not true. I make that same bag on my domestic all the time. So, yes, but I do love it. So Elizabeth says, I'm still here every day. Is a great day. Every day is a great day in Alaska. Winter is winter. Cold and lots of snow. Warmer and barely melting. Colder and every outside service is an ice rink. Yeah, that was us here in Texas. Every service was an ice rink that week that I was saying that it felt probably like Alaska. I mean, to us. You'd probably come down here and be in shorts. You'd be like, oh, it's great. Are you in that time of year? I don't know if you're still here, Elizabeth. If you are, I don't know if you're in that time of year where it's like light all the time, lightish all the time. I don't know when that happens. I'm always so curious about that. I'm so curious how you deal with that because I don't know if I could do that. I like dark. I like the darkness, but I also like a little bit of light. So kudos to you guys who do that. I don't know if I could. Let's see, I had to go out and back in, so it might be delayed. Am I the only one that's missing about every 10th word? She had a bad connection. Yeah, I did have a bad connection for a little bit. It's only 6:50 here. I don't know what 6:50 means. Oh, time probably, because I was complaining about it being 9 o'clock and I'm old. Elizabeth said she's heading out and good to see me. And let's see, the Sparrow's Nest has tuned in. I appreciate that because I don't have an industrial machine. I probably won't get one. I think that is the majority of people. And I already said this previous on the live, but I don't know if you were here. I am not anti-industrial. I'm not pro-industrial. And I only got mine 2 years ago. And it was not because I needed to. I wanted to branch out. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. But I am not in that camp of you have to have this to do anything. I have made, honestly, there's never been a bag that I have made that I didn't make or couldn't make on my Viking. And that's a domestic machine. I didn't have a semi-industrial then. So, I just didn't. And I was kind of determined that I also was not going to get one. In my previous home, I didn't have the space. There was no choice. When we moved here, and this room that I'm actually in was meant to be my husband's like game personal man cave room. And he was like, you need the space more than me. You have a lot of stuff and I don't even use my like man cave room. So let's switch. And he took the much smaller room, which was incredible of him to do. And that afforded me the space to be able to have, the big table with the industrial. So, but up until then, I was not planning on having one. And I think most people are not. And I don't ever want anybody to feel like, oh, you don't have an industrial, you're not part of the cool kids club. Oh, you can't make stuff because you don't have that. Like, that's not me. On the previous live, we were talking about, gatekeeping and a lot of different things that I experienced when I first wanted to teach myself how to sew. I don't know if it was intentional, but it was definitely there, and it set me back a long time. And it was very much like, you're too young for this hobby. Why are you here? You don't belong. And I just don't agree with any of that. I don't agree that you have to have a specific machine or a big budget or special fabrics or any of that. I think we make do with what we have, and I think you push your talent when you make do with what you have. And I think that the right equipment is important, but I also think right is subjective. So that's my piece on that. And I will never be that person who is like pushy about your machine budget. Oh, you can't make this on a $500 machine or whatever. Because if it sews and it looks good and it's, nice for you to use and it's enjoyable, then why not? Do it. So yeah, I think I have shot, I think one tutorial on my industrial, and it wasn't even a full bag tutorial, it was my strap making tutorial. And that really was because the space over there is much bigger, and it's such a small thing we were working on. I wanted, you know, people to be able to clearly see. Okay, so it didn't skip stitches that time, and I fixed it. So I'm guessing it was just a dull needle. And luckily we hit all the same holes that we made before, so we're good. But that was a major bummer and really annoying. Okay, so I've got my pocket, I've got my main panel, and then I have my back panel, which actually is where this pocket is going. And I want to dig out, I think I want to dig out a spring snap, because what I'm afraid of is when the bag is in flex, like these are going to end up, you know, being kind of wonky. I don't really like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a magnetic snap, but I haven't really decided. And then I have lining panels, and I'm also trying to decide if I want to just do a slip pocket, like a high. So what I would do in that case is I would actually cut like a rectangle that's large enough to fit across the bottom here, and I would literally fold it in half, sew across the top, put it on here, stitch the two pieces together like lay flat, like flat, the term just escaped me, but when you basically lay it on here, stitch it down like it's one layer around the edge, and then I would cut it to fit. So then I'd have a nice big slip pocket. I'm kind of leaning toward that because it's my favorite way of doing it. I'm lazy, and I just know how when I carry a bag, I like it to just have a slip pocket. I don't want like a bunch of other pockets in there. And a zip pocket on this bag, for me, I feel like it's going to be really wide and really short, and like, why do I care about that? I'd rather have a really deep slip pocket for my phone. So, but that's just me. So we're going to get into this a little bit more. I don't know if it's been the same people hanging out on the live, probably not. But I cut all this stuff out on the Cricut, and I have not cut my gussets yet. So I'm going to actually step away and cut those out. They're just rectangles. They are just rectangles. I got to go back up here to the cut list and figure out what I need to cut, because I really didn't think I was going to get this far, and it's only 10 right now, and I said I'd probably hang out till like midnight. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Let's see, that's stabilizer, so I need that, I need that. So one of these in outer fabric. Interestingly enough, I have never made this bag pattern before. I expected it was going to be a zipper in the middle of the gusset, but I think this kind of opens more like a lunchbox, which is kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's like solid, and then just the top like opens like a clamshell. I expected it to be more like the Magdalena bag where it like opens in the middle. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that either. I don't think it's a problem. I just don't know if I'm going to like that as much for a purse, because I feel like then all my contents is going to fall out like when I open it. So I don't love that. Let's see. So I need a zipper gusset and a bottom gusset. And I suppose that's it. Just in my lining and my mains. But, okay. And then if I don't do the zippered pocket, then I won't end up doing any of this stuff. Although now I'm kind of thinking if it opens like a lunchbox, and that bottom gusset, if this is the front of the bag, it only sits like this. So there's just a gusset here about this wide, and then from the tip of my finger here to the tip of my finger here all the way around is zipper, so it's like the front kind of falls open. So I definitely don't want to put the slip pocket on the back of this, because if this comes open, then whatever's in your slip pocket is just going to like toss out. So if I decide to go that route, she's wanting you to do a zipper pocket, or whoever the designer is wanting you to do a zipper pocket, and I'm, you know, I'm just kind of being lazy. So I'm thinking, you know, this is the back of the bag with the pocket, and I'm sort of thinking that any pocket I do, I'm gonna, you know, put it on the back like that. I really didn't, you know, read through it. I think the pattern just came out today, or maybe it was yesterday. I've seen all the tester posts being put out, so I just got excited for it, and I thought, oh, it's almost Valentine's Day. Bag must be made. Okay, and then we need some stabilizer, and then I have to decide on connectors for the sides, which I don't really want to pull the Cricut back out tonight and do it, but I'm thinking I might go with her connectors, because her, like, she provides them as an SVG in the pattern, as an option, and they look really nice. I was originally thinking I might go with something else, but now I'm thinking that I might just go with what's provided here. The problem is I don't want to edge coat. And you know what, you guys, I need to decide on some zipper. I'm going to look at zippers really quick for this so I can decide on what colored hardware. I had originally said rainbow, but I need to figure out what color zipper tape I have, because that is going to limit my choices. I have a lot of zipper tape, but I don't know exactly what colors. So I think this might clash. I don't know. It's a little dark, and I only have it in silver teeth. It's not bad. Like, it's the same color family. I don't think it's horrible, but it's just silver, and that's kind of boring and bland. But I do have, I don't know if I have enough of this. This is a rainbow, like a pastel rainbow. Definitely has these colors in it, but it's rose gold teeth. And I think the rose gold and this hot pink is going to clash. I don't know about all that. I don't think that's so great. So, I don't want to just do silver. Silver's so, like, I mean, it'll make it more classic looking and then make this pop a bit more if I don't do rainbow. I had originally intended to do rainbow stitching on here, and I didn't. I'm just going with regular not contrast stitch. So maybe I should go classic with silver. I don't know. I really kind of like the idea of just having everything else sort of go away and having the applique pop. I think that's sort of the best idea. What else do I have? Let's see. Ooh, okay, well, option number 2. I have, I don't know if this is the right color. Similar color, but with rainbow teeth. So, and this matches perfect. Dang, it's like literally the same color, so the zipper would just disappear. Do we not like the rainbow? I think that kind of might be the one. And there's very little hardware on this bag, so it would just be zipper pulls and D-rings. And then I guess whatever I decide to do for the strap. I have not decided on the strap, and I really want to use webbing. Maybe I should decide on some webbing first. But this is literally the perfect color of the blue. Like, it's the exact. This one is off by a shade, and it doesn't look bad. But this one is a little lighter. It's perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm thinking, I don't know, best laid plans. Okay, let me check out webbing here. Let me see. What do I got? I could do inch webbing. I don't really want to. I want to do 1.5 inches. So the only inch and a half webbing that I have that would go with this is this pastel kind of this. I don't know if that's like too much. Pastel, rainbow, whatever. It does go well. And if I do that, I don't know if I want to do a pastel rainbow strap. You know what I mean? This is like an ombre pastel. It's kind of all the colors of like all the conversation hearts. So I think it goes really well. But then this with this, is that too much? Maybe I should do the silver because I'm doing a rainbow strap and now I think we have too much going on. So I think maybe we go back to this. But is this, you know, because it's not, I'm having a hard time. But I definitely think this is the strap I want to go with. And I have this on hand, so. Okay, so wait. Sparrow's Nest and Kathy Carter said, yes, that's perfect. So, which one? The rainbow one that's the perfect match, because this is the perfect match of the vinyl, but it's got a brighter rainbow. And then this for the strap, or is that too much rainbow because it's kind of pastel versus not pastel? Or do we go with just the plain blue? It's off by like a shade, but it doesn't look bad. It's not even a whole shade. It's like a half a shade. Like that. And then do we go with this and silver hardware? This one also has pink in it, which is the same pink that's on the applique. Okay, so the rainbow zip, this one. Okay, and then, but we're still good, you guys think, with this? I mean, it's very soft. Like, it's really subtle. So I don't think that's too bad. And then we'll just have crazy rainbow hardware and it'll just be crazy rainbow everywhere. Any other strap options? Yeah, no, I don't have any other strap options. I have, like, black, and I have, like, a bunch of, I don't have anything else in 1.5 inches. I could go with inch, but I don't really want to. I really want to do 1.5 inches. I guess I could do inch. I don't think I have any better options in inch. Let me check. I don't think I do. Let's see. Inch. Put that one back for a minute. Inch. So I have the same color in inch webbing, and then I have a lot of black and nothing pastel. Oops. I don't really have anything, you guys. I have, this doesn't even match like at all. If this had Caribbean blue in the middle instead of green, this is like acid green. If it had Caribbean blue, I would go wild and I would do this. But it's green, it doesn't match. But the pink matches, so I would do that in a heartbeat. I think that would be like wild and crazy and cool, but it's acid green and it's not the right color. So I think I'm gonna lean toward the rainbow because it matches so good. And if I have to make a strap, I can always make a strap out of vinyl. I have plenty. I'm just being lazy and I really want to use webbing. So I think it's the rainbow though. I think it's the rainbow for me. I am actually really bummed that this doesn't have the Caribbean blue in the middle, because like, I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but it's like not the right color. If this was blue, I would be all on it, because like Valentine's Day cheetah print sassy will be perfect. Okay. Let me put this away. Where it belongs. Okay, so I'll keep this on the table just over here by me to keep in mind this is what we're going with. So I'm gonna step like behind over here and cut these couple of gusset pieces out, and then we'll get to assembling this full body here. I didn't cut those out earlier. So you can talk amongst yourselves. Kathy feels very strongly about, I'm guessing it's the leopard webbing. She says no. I'm thinking. It's a little hard for me to tell. There's a little bit of lag. So while I am cutting, tell me if you guys are working on something. Let me know what you're up to. And I'm going to step back here with my laptop here with my cutting list and cut my last couple of pieces. I'm cutting vinyl, or well, just waterproof canvas, I think, at this point. And a little bit of vinyl. Move stuff out of the way. Okay. So I just have, I think, 4 pieces to cut here. I need my ruler. Might only have 3 pieces. I really didn't think I was going to get this far today, y'all. I was thinking the applique was going to take me a lot longer than it did. Okay, hold up. I need to look through this pattern. These measurements are like funky. I'm not trying to measure all that out. That looks like a really funky. A funky thing. Let me see here. Okay, these are some crazy measurements. I've never done a pattern that has a rectangle that ends in, it's inches 0.625. Just for like this one. That is a really weird measurement. I'm assuming she did her math so precise, but like I don't even know how to measure that. So I might end up with some funkiness here because that is a really bizarre measurement. Not gonna lie. This is so beyond bizarre. This cannot be right. That is a ton of zipper tape. How in the world do we need that much zipper? Sorry, I'm looking through this pattern for the first time today while I'm cutting it and everything. I haven't made one before, and I just bought the pattern and decided, oh, we'll just do it together on the YouTube channel. Weird. Weird, weird. Okay, well, alright, I guess here goes nothing. That is... I have faith it's going to come together in the end, but like I need to get a bigger cutting mat. Like my standard cutting mat won't even do these measurements. That's crazy. Not what I expected. I don't even think my other cutting mat will do these instructions, like these dimensions. That's a huge piece. I guess my giant cutting mat will do that, but holy cats. I gotta break out the big guy. Wow. That's a lot. Okay, well. Surprises. Surprises everywhere. I'm shook. Okay. I think I'll cut this piece on the fold. She doesn't, the pattern doesn't ask you to, but that's gonna make this really long piece way more manageable. If you guys are happening to cut this bag out with me. you're probably doing the same thing I am. I don't have a ruler that long. Like, I don't have a straight edge that long. So I'm improvising because that's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay. First things first. And where is my rotary? It's over here. All right. Let's see. Cut this to length. I don't even know what measurement that is. I'm gonna have to Google this and figure out what the common measurement is. That is just weird. Okay, okay. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. I'm specifically not saying these measurements out loud, by the way, because I want to protect, obviously, the designers, you know, the integrity of the design and all that for the designer of the pattern. So that's why I'm speaking kind of weirdly. I'm kind of talking to myself and trying to riddle this out, but okay, so for this one we need, let me translate this one as well. Okay, there we go. So we need 3 and 1, 2. Okay. That guy up and okay, that's annoying. Okay. This one is done. I think. Okay. I'm gonna need to remember what this one is. That's my zipper. That's what that is. And then, what else do we have here? Okay, this next one is much easier. So I'm hopeful that some of you guys who are watching are actually working on something, and when I come back over there, I will read whatever you are saying you are working on. I'm always interested to know what everybody else is cutting out. Okay, that is there, and then I think I just need, oh, I'm gonna have to grab those back so I can cut linings. Duh. Okay, that's easy enough. Steal these back to cut my canvas. Canvas strips. Almost done. Okay, there are both of those. And then I gotta decide what I want to do about my pocket. I have not decided yet. I kind of don't think I want to do a pocket. I kind of think I'm going to take the lazy way out. Probably shouldn't, but I'm probably gonna. Probably should do an interior pocket. I just don't want to. Okay, there's that. Ugh. And then we have this. So at the very least, I'll do my like zipper gussets and all that kind of stuff. So sorry to leave you guys hanging and chilling. Okay, so what do we got here? see something about Star Trek. Let's see. Okay, I'm working on a wallet to match a bag I just made. Which pattern are you working on? The Curvilicious by Spencer Ogg. Okay, I have not made that one. And the bag is a Christie by Lens, which I also have not made that one. I'm thinking, I don't know if you guys are going to be at the Wizardry Retreat in May, but I will be there. I have my ticket, and I'm super excited to go. I did not get to go last year, and I'm thinking maybe Lens is going to teach the Christie. I don't know, because the picture they used of her for the retreat was the Christie. She was standing there with the Christie, so I'm kind of hoping, like, oh, maybe it's the Christie, but I'll make anything, you know, whatever. It's just fun to be at the retreats. I'm thinking I'll get to do it then. But we'll see. Oh, Kristen. She says she's seam ripping her cleanup clutch. That makes me sad. Were you here earlier? I had to seam rip my pocket. For some reason, the machine started skipping stitches while I was top stitching. And it ended up being okay in the end, but I had to seam rip this whole top part and then change the needle, and I think the needle was just dull. So that was upsetting. But I was seam ripping right there with you, sister. Hopefully it's repairable. They're both for you in your favorite Star Trek print. That's nice. That'd be a nice selfish sew. And Kathy says I'm finishing up the new Annika convertible backpack by Linux Studios. And I'm starting a puppy carrier bag on my embroidery machine. Puppy carrier. Oh, is that like the bag, like the dog do bags, I'm assuming? I was going to say carrier bag for a dog on an embroidery machine? What? I think that's what you mean, though. I'm hoping that's what you mean. Otherwise, I really want to see that thing otherwise. Okay, so this thing has like the longest gusset in the history of creation. And I really thought there might have been an error there. And I'm still not convinced. Like, I don't know, man, that's a long gusset. So, I guess we'll see. We'll figure it out. And thank you guys for helping me make my selections on the zipper tape and stuff, because I get kind of like analysis paralysis a little bit on that. Okay, I decided before I sit down, I'm going to do a slip pocket. I can't not do a slip pocket. It didn't want to have any pockets. It'll only have the slip pocket on the outside, and that sucks. So I'm going to take the cheater's way out, and I'm going to do a big slip pocket on the inside, and we'll put it on the back side of the bag, so when the front flops open, the contents will still stay in the zip pocket. Yeah, like that's good enough. That's fine. It's fine. But to do that, I'll show you my like very cheatery way of doing this. I do it all the time. I'm so lazy when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I have a piece here. I'm just gonna cut this, and this is the bottom. So now we have this here. Okay, perfect. So then we cut this. This way that I'm about to do this is kind of, I mean, frankly, it's kind of wasteful. I don't usually do it like this with such a big piece. I'll show you when I get over there. I usually do it with scraps, and it works great. But because this is such a big bag piece, I can't do that with scraps. I have to do it with a bigger piece. So, but typically it works really well. Let me see. Let's see if I have a bag tag I want to use. I don't have. Pull out my little collection here and see what I got. I don't think I'm going to do a bag tag because I don't think I have one I want to use. I love making bag tags for like individual things, so I guess I won't. That's fine. Not every bag needs a tag, it's fine. Okay, so what I did, I took one of my liner pieces, and this is how I'm gonna make, this is my like dirty, lazy slip pocket trick. Normally it's a more normal sized piece that isn't like the weirdo heart, but because we have the flare at the top, we have to account for that, and we have to account for it twice essentially, right? So if you wanted to waste less material, you would take this heart, you'd lay it out, you would cut, like, you'd lay this out and you'd cut from here to here, and then you'd cut across. And you'd make 2 of those. You'd put those right sides together, sew them up. You'd have a seam across the top. I don't like doing that. I like a single fold at the top with top stitching. So in order to do that, you have to make a really big rectangle to account for like all this weirdness. So what I'm gonna do is fold this in half, just straight across, and I'm gonna top stitch it. Wrong sides together. I'm gonna top stitch at the top, however it is that I wanna do that. I go for like 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I need a little more foot pressure here. What's going on? Chick-fil-A cup getting in my way. So, once we finish this, and it's all top stitched across, we're gonna trim little snippies, trim our ugly little thread off. And so now what we do is we pick at what point we want our slip pocket to be, and I want to make sure it's symmetrical. So I'm going to fold, I'm not going to use this one, I'm going to use this other one. That one cut a little weird. I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm just going to make, I'm going to pick whatever arbitrary point. I mean, you have to kind of be a little careful how you do it on each bag. Fold that under. Actually put it under the foot to hold it. So now I think I'm going to kind of do it at like the widest point of this heart. That looks good to me. So frankly, I'm just going to make a snip here. And I made it through all the layers, so I have a point on both sides where I'm going to do this pocket, and that gives me line-up points. And now all I'm going to do is take a couple of clips, clip jar back here. I'm gonna take a couple of clips. I'll put a clip right here below the line and a clip right here below the line, so it's going straight across. And then I'm gonna just line this up on the one side and clip it into place. And then making sure it's straight across over here, and then I'm going to clip it into place. I don't have a very big work surface right now, so I'm using that. So I'm going to make sure that it's like taut across here and not pulling or doing anything crazy or wonky. And then I just want to visually look at it and make sure it's straight. And I could even measure. I probably will take this over here and measure it just to make sure. But you just clip it into place to make sure it's straight. Let's see, this one. Here, this one. Didn't quite get it exactly where it needed to be. It was a little wonky. Okay, that's much better. I got it all straight, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and tack it down from the front, like facing here where I can see it in the seam allowance. Just here at the top, I'm gonna tack the one side down so it doesn't move, because the clips don't hold it great. So now it's attached, and then I'm going to do this other side. Same way, right in the seam allowance, really close on that top edge. Now again, normally this isn't quite so like crazy and wasteful because it's just a little rectangle, and I usually do these pockets like this out of scrap. Oops, we didn't cut that out, did we? Get out of here. Okay, so that gives us our slip pocket right there. So what happens now is we have all this back here. I'm just gonna flip it over, making sure all of my layers stay like taut and good. Put it under the foot, and everything is nice and flat. And I'm gonna start top stitching, or not top stitching, but stitching all of these layers together like a base. Within the seam allowance, really close to the edge, I'll do a really long stitch length because I'm just basting it. And then once we bind everything and put it together, it'll all be like one layer, like no big deal. And then you just treat it like the slip pocket never even happened. You just have to make sure everything stays nice and flat while you do this. You really don't want wrinkles, this freaking thread. What are you doing? Get out of there. Make ourselves a nice long tail because it's being a pain. You just really want to avoid any like shifting during this process if you can. So now, this is definitely not a part of her pattern. This is just how I do lazy pockets, y'all. It's how I do pretty much all of my slip pockets. Especially when they're not a part of the pattern and they don't give me like the dimensions to do all of it. And I just want a lazy pocket. Just hold it all taut, make sure it stays good. I have a little tiny wrinkle there at the bottom, but I guarantee you that's gonna get caught in binding, so I'm not even gonna worry about it. So, lazy slip pocket, and now I will go through and trim off the excess. I didn't want to screw it up, so I made it a little bit longer and a little bit bigger than I should have, like all this extra down here. But normally you're not doing a heart shape, so you don't have to have all this extra. So literally what I'm going to do now is use my original piece on the back here and cut around the edge. The laziest of the slip pockets. Now, what you can do after you trim this, if this were like a really long rectangle, I would definitely go through and I would stitch down the middle. Like on a rectangle, I do like a 60-40 split or a 30-70 split on a bag. I'll save all this waterproof canvas because I'll use it for all kinds of things. But here's my panel with its slip pocket. So what I was saying is you could do a 60-40, and I probably will on this one because I don't want it to droop too much. But I probably won't do a 50-50 because I want to leave one side really big to be a phone slip pocket inside. So I'll just pick any arbitrary point on here that works for me. Remember, we'll be binding, so we don't want to make this so small over here. The other thing you could do if you didn't want it for a slip pocket is make a channel in the middle. And then that would be like for a pen or whatever, or lip gloss or whatever. I'm gonna get my tailor's chalk, take this back over and make a mark. I'm gonna do like a 30-70 split just because I think that'll work for me. So I'll end up doing like a 4-inch pocket on the one side, and it'll end up being smaller because yeah, so like that. And then you can put your keys or something little in there, little thing of mints, little whatever, something. And so then what I do, if it's a smaller pocket, I don't do this, but now I have a line to follow. Oops, still on a 7mm stitch length, no thank you. Okay. That white will disappear when I'm all done. So, lazy, super lazy slip pocket. It will work for any shape. I just did one of these for that Rick and Morty round portal bag that I did. And that, if they don't give you the dimensions and it's not a straightforward rectangle, that's how you do it. And again, a lot of times if you have like a weird wonky scrap, you could have done it a lot fancier and cut the hearts, but it's hard to account for like these weird shapes and make sure you get it round enough, like up here where it flares, and you have to do it twice. So like cutting this shape, like this piece in the right shape, would have been way too hard. And I also don't like having a bulky seam up here. I like folding it in half. So that's what I'm gonna do for the pocket inside. That's good enough. I'm not doing a zipper overlay and all that other stuff because this bag already has applique, and I'm not trying to spend a billion years on it. So that being said, we should be able to get into the minutiae of this bag now. So I think I'm just gonna do the zipper gusset. We already did the pocket. I opted for the outer pocket. And then she's got convertible backpack instructions in here. I am not gonna do all of that, and so I'm skipping ahead to the gusset. So, and I'll do my connectors. I'm gonna think about it overnight and do the connectors. I definitely won't get to those tonight. I'll probably end up cutting them on my Cricut tomorrow, but I'm gonna have to clear all of this off and bring the Cricut back out. I ain't doing that right now. So, and I might still do the metal connectors. Not gonna lie. Okay, so I need to cut myself a length of zipper tape. I didn't even realize I had the zipper tape. I couldn't tell y'all how long I cut it for. I'm really excited that I actually get to use it. Grab my lighter. Maybe. I have no idea where my lighter is. This is driving me nuts. Normally my studio is not this kept and unorganized, but because I've been shooting all these videos and tutorials for these machines, I have literally moved everything everywhere. Where is my lighter? I tell you guys right now, if I were a wizard, the one spell I would use constantly is Accio. Like, that entire movie and whole franchise should have just been people doing that every time you walk through a street or anywhere else. Just like Accio, Accio, Accio. Because you would never ever look for your car keys. You'd never look for anything if you didn't have to. You just wouldn't. I don't care who you are, you would use that power if you had it. Like Harry's #1 used spell was Expelliarmus. No, I'd be like Accio in all over the place. Accio snacks. Accio whatever product I'm reaching for. The thing I can't find, like my phone, my keys, my lighter, my seam ripper, like whatever. All the time. Okay. Here's that. I'll put this on the table behind me so I don't think I would get confused, but this is a really long piece of zipper tape. So. Kathy says, so wait. Kathy, you said it's like a purse. When you say a purse, oh, cute. She says she's getting a half-pound Chihuahua puppy at the end of the month. So you're going to make a carrier in the hoop? Like fully in the hoop, like an in the hoop project. That's a big in the hoop project, even for a tiny dog. I feel like most in the hoop projects are like really little. So I'm really interested to see that. I don't know if you're in my Facebook group, but I would love for you to post that in there when you're done because I really want to see it. That's a very ambitious in the hoop project. Wow. I'm kind of shocked by that. I didn't know they made them like that. And then she says, I'm a 68-year-old Potterhead. I am a 34-year-old Potterhead. Thank you very much. I love Harry Potter. Harry Potter got me through a lot of stuff in my life, man. Those books were the ones that kind of got me back interested into reading when I was young, and I love Harry Potter. It's a source of comfort for me. Despite all the other weird stuff with it, I ignore all of that because I love the cast and I love kind of the core, you know, whatever of it, and I just refuse. I don't care how old I get, I'm not getting rid of it. I love my fandoms. Okay, so she says, we have our zipper tape with we're going right sides together on the outer gusset. And we're making ourselves a zipper sandwich is what we're doing. We're just making a zipper sandwich. She says to use double-sided tape. I'm a rebel. I don't do it. I just make my zipper sandwiches with clips. Clippy clips. All right, Kathy, so if you are a Potterhead, what house are you? I gotta know. I am a very, I don't know, proud is probably the wrong word given the house that I'm in, but a proud Slytherin. Every test I've ever taken says that I'm a Slytherin. I know everybody's like, oh, that's the mean house, but you know what? I know some pretty dang mean Hufflepuffs, so I don't really put a lot of stock in that. Especially as I get older, the more people I meet, and it's like, that stuff has no bearing. It's really about your actions and your character. And it has almost nothing to do with your basic character traits. As long as you are actually a good person and you try to act with the best of intentions for people. I do know some pretty crappy Slytherins too, but I also know some really crappy Ravenclaws. Oddly enough, I don't really know any Gryffindors at all, so I can't say. But there's bad apples in every bunch. So, say what you will, but I am Slytherin house all the way. My husband is a Ravenclaw. Oddly enough, I actually know a lot of Ravenclaws, which I think is pretty interesting. And I know several Slytherins, and they're like the nicest people you would ever meet. Okay, so I'm going to attach the zipper, and then I'm going to get it turned out and top stitch, and then I'm probably going to bed, y'all, because I don't know if I can really handle doing all these curves this late. I am such an early bird, and it is shocking to me how many of you guys are up so late. Funnily enough, at one point in my life, I was such a night owl. I would stay up till 4 or 5 a.m. and only sleep like 3 or 4 hours, but not anymore. These days, I just can't do it. I need my sleep, and I am horribly behind on sleep right now, so I'm really trying to, like, self-care, you know, trying to get my sleep back up and getting myself, you know, rested mentally, emotionally, actually physically. It's important. Oh, boo. Oh, I was gonna say my gusset's too short, but look, it's like wobbly, so I'll have to futz with this a little bit because I missed some down there. It got wrinkly. So, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I cut this like exactly. It shouldn't be that short. It's about 1 inch short, but it's not actually because everything got kind of wrinkled. I may need to take this over to my longer work surface. This is just such a big gusset. I have never done a bag this small with a gusset this big. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to lay it down on the table. I don't think I can get this one to lay nice. BRB. More walking around and moving around with this bag than I have with like any other bag I've made in recent memory. Okay, there we go. Now it's better. Just got wrinkly. Guess I'm glad I corrected that, or I would have ended up with a drunken zipper. And nobody wants that. Okay. Way better. So much better. Okay. Yeah. So Kristen, oh, you're a Ravenclaw? I didn't know that. Okay, so Kathy, you are a Gryffindor. Neville is very cute. Basically all in the hoop. Check out the Sweet Pea. It's the Sweet Pea Designs. Okay, so I know Sweet Pea Designs, and I think it's Applique Planet, but I can't remember. They both have like some like really intense. One of them has like a whole bag, like a baby bag in the hoop. There's very little sewing. That thing is intense. When I saw it, I was like, that's a sewn pattern. And then I realized it was an in the hoop pattern. I do not have the patience. Go you for doing that. That is very, in my opinion, ambitious, because I cannot handle that. I work really well in 3D. I do not work well in like that flat 2D layering thing. That is like way too much for me. I can't do it. So, but I am glad you can, because that is just not for me. Not for me. But I saw you, Kristen, say that you were pushing it because it's your Wild Friday night. I agree. This is the same for me. It's like, ooh, a wild night. This is the longest wild night I've had in a while. But I also know for me, I have to call it a night at some point before I get too tired, and then I make dumb mistakes, you know? I start to get that way. Off and reline this one up because it got a little weird, but I don't know why. So we've got a Gryffindor and a Ravenclaw. Oh no, yes, did you say Ravenclaw? Yeah, a Gryffindor, a Ravenclaw, and a Slytherin. We're just missing a Hufflepuff. Any Hufflepuffs out there in the interwebs? Come on, Hufflepuff. Okay, so I cut my zipper a little bit longer on purpose. I always do that, just cause. But I'll need to reburn this end. And then I gotta put zippers on here because, you know. There it is. Ain't got no zippers, y'all. But I could probably top stitch before I do that. In fact, I think I just have zippers sitting right here I'm gonna use. I do. I'm gonna use a couple of these, the rainbow zipper pulls, the dangle pulls from my shop. I think these will be really, really cute on there. They're nice and sizable, and I'm gonna do double zippers because for a bag like this, I just think it's gonna be easier to unzip, and you know, the person, whoever ends up with this bag, if they don't like double zipper pulls, you know, you just put it over to the side. So I've done Planet Appliques, Applique Planets dolls. I love them. Yeah, those dolls are really cute. I've never tried one, but they look really cute. I don't really have a use for them, frankly, if I had, you know, kids or grandkids or something. But I know a few people who make those, and they are very cute. Okay, so now we're top stitching this zipper out of the way. I'm gonna lengthen my stitch length a tiny bit on that. Actually, you know what, Kristen, I just realized, of course I knew you were coming to SME. I'm such a dingbat lately. I can't remember anything. I knew you're coming to SME because when we talked about this with the punches, you were like, I could bring him to SME. Duh. So obviously you're going to be there. I don't know why I was like, are you going to be there? I can't remember. Like I said way earlier, I cannot remember who else is doing vending, teaching, like, yeah. I'm just, I have my own thing going on and I like don't remember who's doing what. Oops. But yeah, we already discussed this, so. I promise I did remember, it just took me a while. Dude, this gusset is so long. All in all though, this really is not a hard bag. If you've ever made a bound bag like the Magdalena, I mean, this is the same premise. Same general idea, same kind of feel, bound bag. The instructions are really good. This is my first pattern from this company. So, woot woot. It's all good, baby. Okay, now we gotta do some zipper pulls. All right, so another hot topic of conversation. Are you team use your hands for zipper pulls, or are you team I need to have a zipper jig? I am so bad at those zipper jigs, y'all. Like, it's not even funny. I sell them only at shows because they don't ship well. They're a little obnoxious to try to ship. But I sell them, and I mean, if you love them, hey, like, I'm happy to make them and sell them, but like, I'm so dumb with them, I cannot use them. I've tried. I look so stupid on the demos doing them. Trying to be like, here's how you use it. I mean, I know how to use it, I just can't do it. I'm so much better with my hands than the zipper jigs. I don't know what it is. I guess probably because I learned to do it with my hands first, and now every time I try to use one of those zipper jigs, I just feel like a big dummy. Although usually I put these on first, and this is really hard to like get around the gusset. I don't think I've ever done it kind of partially assembled like this before. So, anyway, oh no, that's not aligned at all. But normally I hold it like this, but trying to mush all this stuff in my hand is difficult. There we go. Okay, side one. Maybe this one will be easier. It's always a little challenging when you do two and they have to like kiss in the middle and not be weird. Sometimes, like that time, I get on the first try, bam! Bam! Look how good that looks. Look at that rainbow. It's really cute. I'm glad that I went with rainbow. I feel like the silver would have been good. It would have been very classic, but I just feel like, you know, we want to be a little more wild. So, let's see. Binding is my nemesis. Look, I have tips and tricks for binding, and once I did it a few times, it's again, I am not the fastest sewist out there, and I'm not trying to be because I don't like mistakes. So, I prefer to just be slow and steady. But, once you do binding, I feel like a few times and you use some of the tips and tricks, it's really not too bad. And I still maintain that I like the pre-bought binding the best. Just the stuff from like Joann's or wherever sewing area. I don't prefer making my own because even when I cut it on the bias and stuff, it just doesn't seem to lay as nice. I just don't like it. And honestly, it sucks to cut those long strips unless you have a machine. And I don't do enough binding. So like once a year, I just go stock up when they do the big sales, like buy 3, get 3 free, or like, buy whatever, the big sales. And, I just buy all of it in like all the colors I use, and I keep a back stock of it. And, it's just easy to open up a pack and be done. Like I'm not trying to cut all that. That's terrible. And then stitching it together, and yeah, I don't care about that. So, I buy the pre-bought stuff. I have tried some of the waterproof bindings. They're not for me. They're a little too stiff. I just prefer the cotton Quattro fold because then you get a really nice, clean, for me, once I got it down, like perfect seam and seams on each side of everything every time. So now that I know those tips and tricks and I've kind of mastered that, I no longer feel threatened by binding in any way. And frankly, I'm starting to prefer bound bags to drop-in liners or birthed bags because the lining fits super snug and crisp every time. And at the end, you typically birth the bag through like the zipper. It's really nice. There's no like tugging it through a tiny hole and closing anything. When you're done with that binding, like you're done with the bag. It's so satisfying to me to finish that and turn the bag, and it's just done, and it's beautiful, and they typically have really good structure. So I'm kind of team bound bag at this point, and I know a lot of people don't like them. So I'm kind of like hoping some of the designers keep doing them because way back when, a lot of the bags were bound. And then we moved away from those because people didn't like the binding, and now I think we're kind of getting back to them. So, I'm team binding, but yeah, I will not make my own binding. I don't have time for that. That is something like a time is money kind of situation. When I can buy a whole thing of like 3 or 5 yards of binding for pennies, like basically, why would I not do that? They make it in every color. And even some of the companies have cute printed kind if you really want that. I just do solid colors that coordinate, and like, I'm good. I am not about that life. I'm not doing that. So, yeah. Not for me. But Kathy says she's team both, but she said I scared her because I I pulled the tape apart. I mean, you got to pull it apart to get it on there. I mean, I don't know. I find it way easier if they're totally separate. If they're together part of the way, you have to zip, like you end up taking it apart anyway. So, yeah, I don't have a problem doing that. But y'all, it is 11:20. I almost made it to midnight, but I think I'm at a good stopping point, frankly, because I just don't think I have it in me to try to ease this gusset on tonight around this curve. And I really want to make sure I do a super good job to keep my heart shape. I want the bag to be really heart shaped in the end. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. But it was awesome hanging out with you guys. Sorry the video cut out, halfway through, but we came back. I will likely finish this on live tomorrow, frankly. It's Saturday. I don't think I have anything going on that's too pressing, but I don't know. So I suppose I will see you anon. If not tomorrow, then soon to finish this. So thank you for hanging out with me and have a good rest of the night. Good night. Maybe good night once I figure out how to... There we go. Okay, good night.